I can't.
I'm trying this out. Mike's hard watermelon.
Oh my fucking god, my head.
Susan, what are you drinking?
Well, I have Pepsi, strawberry daiquiri, and classic lime margarita.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This Mike's hard watermelon lemonade is pretty good.
Wait, is that literally what all of you guys have?
Yeah.
That's
Damn.
fucking good.
It's
Don't forget to stretch your cream hamstrings.
For the first time, Christopher Edwards has chosen something delicious. For the first time, it doesn't taste like moose piss.
Hey, I told you, like, next week, I seen that brand called The Stag, and I'm bringing him down.
No, you're not bringing him down. You're gonna keep him right up there in the fucking stable. Listen, you're doing good, all right? You're like 1 in 16 for being good with this fucking liquor. This is your only victory for like anything alcoholic.
Carlton was like, when you drink The Stag, is that shit will put balls on your balls? Like, that's a man's drink right there when you're drinking The Stag.
On your balls.
I just don't understand like why he chooses to keep buying cheap shit. Like he goes to the liquor store and he's just like, what am I gonna piss Will off with today? You know what? Let me get something called The Stag.
What will make Jer so pissed?
Yes.
Yeah, is Duff a real beer, or is that just for Simpsons?
It's just Simpsons.
Okay.
But,
They do sell Duff, but
after
I
the
think
show came
it's
out,
like soda or something.
Yeah,
jeez.
It's some kind of soft drink.
yeah. They
Pretty sure you can buy it at like FYE.
well, they did. Well, at some Ballinger's in Troy, they did like a whole thing, like a Simpsons theme thing, where they actually put like the Duff label that they had on the Simpsons show on some beer, and it was like they were selling Duff beer when they were doing 2 for $1, and it was funny as fuck.
Jeez.
That's amazing.
Yep. So I walked in there with $20, and I walked out forgetting my name.
Pretty easy.
You know, that's about the only way that I know I can survive in this stupid ass society. Is drink until I forget my.
What are you talking
name.
about? Being pissed off with fat people who stink or something? Because we had to.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is my routine when I get up in the morning. Okay, I'm gonna reiterate this. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I want to do when I get up in the morning is shit. I'm gonna shit, and then I'm gonna sit there on the toilet and reflect on my life for about 5 minutes. Okay, then I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna look at myself in the mirror and say, "Why the fuck am I awake?" Then I'm gonna step in the shower, and then I'm gonna get clean because you know that's just how you're supposed to fucking be if you're functioning in society. Then I'm gonna brush my teeth because I don't want nobody to smell my dragon breath, and then I'm gonna leave my house to go to work. That is my routine. But no. That some people just don't do that. No, some people just wake up and just become fucking waste of space, and they just leave their fucking house. Do they know what the fuck hygiene is? Absolutely not. They gotta get told. They're the type of people that's got to get told by the government to wash their hands. Wait. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how nasty that fucking sounds right now. Why the fuck do you have to get told by the government to wash your fucking hands? That in itself is fucking disgusting. You're a grown ass man, and your fat ass is coming into the fucking into any store, and you fucking smell. It's like you have one job, and that is to get yourself clean in the morning. The first thing you should do, if you can walk to the kitchen to make yourself something to eat, walk your fat ass to the bathroom to get clean.
The average person goes to the bathroom first and brushes their teeth before they even eat.
Exactly. Well, that's the average person. And as you can clearly tell, there's a lot of people in society that are not average. They are below average and fucking disgusting. And it's just like, I just don't understand. It's just like there was this fat piece of shit. It had to be at least 500 fucking pounds. I swear to God. This motherfucker took up the entire this is not an exaggeration, people. This is not a fucking exaggeration. He was so fucking wide, he took up a whole aisle inside the fucking store.
God.
Like literally, he when he moved to the side, he looked like a fucking piece of paper. But when he turned 90 degrees, this motherfucker became as wide as the fucking Michelin tire man in the commercial. This motherfucker became, I don't know what the fuck he became, but it was supernatural. Like, I was thinking about calling the police and saying, I don't know what the fuck that is, but it deserves to be in Area 51. He did not deserve to be in fucking society. But yeah, here we go. You're waddling around with your sneakers, with the sides of your sneakers on the floor. Like, how are you so fucking fat? The sides of your sneakers are on the floor. Like, you can't even
Maybe
walk.
You need to talk to your dad about getting those sneakers that are named Sneaker.
Yeah, I think so too. Because,
when you just said that when they took up the whole aisle, you reminded me of a story that this happened to me and my sister recently. We went to Price Chopper, and there was this huge person on one of the little scooters, right?
Yeah.
And they're in the aisle, and they're literally like the scooter. You can see the scooter; it looks like it's lost up this person's ass.
Oh,
you can barely see it. This person is hanging off both sides of the scooter, and I saw it, and I started to laugh because in my mind I was like, if Junior was here right now,
I'd have kicked that shit over.
I started cracking up.
I'd have kicked that shit over.
My sister's like, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." I shrugged it off. But in that moment, I fucking just died laughing for like a good 5 minutes.
Listen, let me tell you something. When you're that fucking big, alright? When you're that fucking big, something needs to change. Something needs to change when you're that fucking big. Okay? He clearly, he saw the look. Like, I have a mask on, but you can still see the anger. You can still see the anger in my eyes. Like, what the fuck am I looking at? And it was just like, it's like, how? And then you stink. Like, you know what? I could almost accept it if you're that fucking big. But if you stink, I want you dead. Like, literally, it's just at that moment, if you died in front of me, Jesus, I would just hose you down so you wouldn't fucking... so the smell of rotten flesh just wouldn't pollute the fucking store. Like, you are so goddamn fucking big. I don't understand how this is acceptable. How is this acceptable that you eat so much? And that's where this person was like 6'8" and 500 pounds, and it was just not muscle. None of it was muscle. Like, you can just see the jiggle with him from the AC. Like, how are you so fat that when the wind hits you, your fat flubs? That's how you know you're fat as fuck. But then you stink. And when you stink,
damn,
you emit a smell. I call it the fat man smell.
I agree with you. Like, fat people stink different.
Yeah.
Because when I go to work, if I work up a sweat, I get mad at myself. Like, God damn it, I'm at work. There's nothing I can do to change my current situation, and I don't like that fucking odor that my body's emitting.
But the difference between you and this motherfucker is that you'll shower. He won't. He didn't. He clearly didn't. He didn't give a fuck about his hygiene. And then he was burping. So you already know that on top of you stinking, you're fucking burping up a fucking storm and coughing. Like, what the fuck are you coughing for? Like, what are you coughing and burping for? You lost all them fucking calories walking from one end to the aisle to the other? Like, seriously, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's like you stink on... You can't even reach around your body to wipe your ass. So you can't even fucking do that. Wearing size 63 fucking shorts. Like, how dare you show your face in society? And it's just like, if you stink, don't leave your house. Wash up first. She's probably one of those people that go on social media and is offended by every little thing. I hope you hear this shit, and I hope you're fucking offended, you fat fuck.
God.
No, it's just like, no, I can't, that is just the one thing I cannot stand. And I can't even, like, I literally had to leave the aisle to go around him, because even when I said excuse me, he couldn't even get out of the fucking way, because literally that's how inconveniently fat he was.
He was being the definition of inconvenient fat.
Yes, the literal fucking definition. When I went to walk around him after I said excuse me, this is what the fuck he said that pissed me off even more. He was like, oh sorry. Like, you know when fat people talk and then suddenly it's just that jiggle in their voice? He's like, sorry, I'm sorry. I was like, you know what, fuck it, never mind. And I just walked around him. And he was just like, and he looked at me confused, like, as to why I was angry. I'm like, I can't even walk around you. Why do you think I'm angry? Like, you're directly in my fucking path. And you stopped short on fucking purpose. And I was like, oh my God. I was, oh, my temperature went up. I literally, like, I had to get my head checked like twice throughout the day, because I was like, when I first walked in, my temperature was exactly 100 degrees. And once it hits 100.4, I get sent home, because if you're feverish, that's a sign of the Rona.
It's the same thing at my job, 100.4, and they won't even let you in the building.
Yeah. So I was literally at 100 degrees. And it was just like, are you okay? Do you feel like weak or anything like that? I'm like, no, I'm pissed off. And it was like, oh, okay, that explains why your temperature's higher. I'm like, exactly. Get the fuck out of my way. Oh, fuck, man. I just... And then stupid fucking people today. I'm at the fucking laundromat. And I look at the news. And I listened to this White House segment that Democrats said no to a payroll tax cut. And I watched the explanation behind it. Well, we don't want to feel like we're giving the American people too much. Okay, all right. Whoa. This is why I cannot be a spokesperson, because literally I would look at them and I would just be like, giving us too much. Other countries around the world are averaging $5,000 a month to their citizens to stay at home during COVID-19. We got a single $1,200 check in 4 months. $600 a month for unemployment. 25 million people filled out for unemployment, which is a record number of all time. 25 million people. 11 million people still did not receive an unemployment check. Okay, let's get started. All right. I'll keep going. So I heard about the company that was worth $88 billion that got a $12 million government tax refund.
Really? Jesus Christ.
And the reason why that he got a tax refund is because the majority of his money is actually sitting overseas. But they refused to raise the tariffs to bring in for them to bring their business from overseas into the United States. Do you still think they're about the people yet? I'll get started. I'll keep going. The American people overall give the government an average of $3.2 trillion a year for taxes. They spent 3 years worth of our tax dollars bailing out major corporations. You still think the government is about the American people? Please kill yourself. Now, this next stimulus package, if you are going back to work, if you are returning to work after you've been laid off, you get extra money on top of the money that you're going to be given from the second stimulus check. The second stimulus check is yet another $1,200 check. They fucking act like they're doing us a favor when they're sending us two checks of $1,200 over 4 months. And it's actually going to be 5 by the time, everything starts to open up. So over 5 months, you're going to give the American people $2,400 in 5 months.
I mean, I couldn't find that, but I found from Chicago Tribune that Amazon paid no federal taxes on $11.2 billion profits in 2019.
Yep.
No taxes.
No taxes. None. So once again, I'd like to sit there and say that if you think the government is for the American people, you are sadly mistaken.
These numbers are insane.
Every single politician is getting a check, regardless of the situation that's going on in America right now. Do they give a flying fuck how long we're in lockdown for? Absolutely not. So when you sat there, you stupid fucks, and you say, oh, hey, they're trying to take away my rights by letting us wear a mask, the politicians are literally up there laughing at you because you're too fucking stupid to understand, oh, we're not trying to take away your rights, but we know you're not going to comply with a simple fucking order. And literally, it's like they feed off of the stupidity of America. America benefits off of conflict. What part of that shit don't you people understand? Yeah. So they know that it's going to bring conflict. If it's state by state, by the way, this isn't even a federal mandate. This is state by state mandated that you have to wear a mask.
I mean, this is a pretty large article, but like this guy, Matthew Gardner, he's saying that he called the situation a failure in American tax policy. Their U.S. profits doubled in the last year. If anyone is going to be subject to the corporate income tax, you would hope it would be Amazon. From 2009 to 2018, the company earned roughly $26 billion in profit and paid approximately $700 million federal taxes for an effective federal rate of 3%. And according to this is well below the statutory 35% percent corporate tax rate in which other companies pay. Damn. Oh.
Okay, so make it make sense to me that you make billions of dollars and you pay zero taxes. You pay zero taxes making billions of dollars, but someone who makes $60,000 a year owes $2,500. Make it make sense to me, please.
There was a tax break given out in the form of stock options, which allowed the company to shave roughly $1 billion off its 2018 tax bill. That would represent nearly half of the total federal tax bill levied on the company's profit of $11.2 billion.
Al, you said something that stuck with me since episode 1. And I'm going to quote this because I'll never forget exactly what you said, because it was probably one of the things that I've heard. I've never heard this statement come out of anybody's mouth before, but it enlightened me to do a lot of research. You said there are socialist policies in this capitalist society. And I did a lot of research on that. In every retail spot around the world, there is a socialist design. In every single retail spot in this country, around the world, pretty much, there is a socialist thing. And I'm going to actually turn to Susan when I say this. Any of your full-time workers, any full-time worker around here is capped out at a certain rate. In ShopRite, for example, you cannot make any more than $17 an hour. That is a socialist policy. Yeah. You can't make, if you cannot make over a certain amount, that's socialism. But if we are valued on,
technically no, but
if you are valued on capitalism, I'm going to explain why in just a second. The reason that I say that for is because of the fact that it's like when they say, oh, companies can only pay you a certain amount based on their profits and things like that, is bullshit. Because, like, look, I'm going to look at Target, for example, because Target, the max salary at Target when I left was $13.50 an hour as a full-timer. That was the max salary you were able to make.
What year was that?
That was, when did I last work at Target? I think back 2012.
What was it, a max hourly rate or salary?
It was a max hourly rate. I think it was like $13.50 an hour back in 2012. I don't know what it is now.
I'm gonna look it up. Max.
But I know that there is a max salary cap at these places.
Yeah, that's more to do with personal company policy.
True.
So, like, socialism is closer akin to the government being able to set, basically the government being in charge of where you work, what you make, certain programs like that. Like when you talk about socialism, it's essentially the government in charge of your day-to-day living, kind of.
Yeah.
Right? And people argue against socialist policies, but here's the reality of it. There is no government system that could work without socialist policies. Like school, the very concept of school is socialism.
True.
The government created a place of education for all citizens.
Yeah.
That is socialism. The concept of all citizens owning a gun, it's a form of socialism. Technically, no, because it's not the government mandating you own a gun. It's enshrined in our Constitution.
Yeah.
But still, it is ratified and protected by the government. So in essence, it's kind of like, it's like the government saying this is for all people, right? And people that fight against socialism don't understand that socialism by itself could work, but corrupt people will make it not work.
Yeah.
But it's not an idea that should be by itself. Yeah. It's like, even the concept of capitalism could work if everybody did it right, but people don't do it right. People get greedy, and this is why it fails. Capitalism could work flawlessly if people were doing the right thing. And if you let capitalism, you could let it thrive. You don't have to check capitalism, but you need levels of socialism to protect the people, regardless. Yeah. It's any government would work better that way. Any economical system would work better that way.
So the amendments to the Constitution that goes on, because, part of the amendments, like you say, your right to bear arms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The right to actually bear arms and stuff like that. That in what you say in that sense would count for socialism then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't want to get it confused. I call it a form of socialism, but I guarantee you there are people who will argue it against it 1,000%, and they would be able to make 1,000 points as to why they're right, and they would be right. It's not. I call it socialism only because it is a right that is protected by the government
and
given
regulated
to all Americans,
and regulated by the government.
Well, yeah, and it's not socialism in the point of it's not a government mandated law.
Yeah.
It's not a government rule.
Yeah.
It's enshrined in the Constitution and given to us by our founders. So it's not like the government said, you guys could all have guns. Our founders gave us that right, and the government basically protects that right. So that's the reason I call it socialism. But technically, it's not really socialism.
Yeah.
But there are many socialist programs that exist in the country that have benefited the country from forever.
Yeah.
Like there are some socialist programs that fail, and there are those that work. And the one that I always point to is school. School is a socialist program.
Yeah.
Now, the problem that I have is where people let capitalism thrive over socialism. There's supposed to be a balance.
Yeah.
When you let capitalism thrive, you get things like, do you know that at one point in this country, college was free, just like school. You go to school, you go through elementary, junior high school, you go to college. It was free.
Yeah.
It was government funded, and the right was given to all people. And then capitalism took hold, and people started to say, yo, wait a minute, we could turn this into an industry. And they created an industry where you pay money to these people, they take your money, they give you something that tells you, if you have this degree, you're worth something. And now in the job field, you're looked at better because you have this. It was a complete capitalist construct for people to get rich. And it worked.
Yeah.
And people got rich. And there are thousands of examples. Like, another thing that happened that was based on capitalism is like this, and when this happened, it wasn't a secret. They didn't hide it. They did it, and it was out in the open, and nobody cared because of the time that it happened. If it happened in modern era, it'll be a catastrophe. But when it happened, the privatization of the jails. There was a point in time in America where jails were ran by the federal government, and people of all walks of life went to jail for being criminals.
Yeah.
Then a bunch of capitalists got together and said, yo, we can make a lot of money if we privatize the prison system. And they did.
Yeah.
And once that happened, that's where the concept of let's round up all these black people and put them in jail, because if you fill the jail, you get all these subsidies from the government, all this money that instead of them having to pay this money to run the jail, they just let you run your private jail and pay you to do it.
Yeah.
And then they needed to have their jails filled, because if you have a quota, you get more money. And that's where they started saying, these black people are criminals and let's put all these people in jail. That happened. That is recorded American history. You could Google that and look it up, which Chris is doing right now.
I have a quick question, though. I have one quick question.
No, because when I was in prison, I was told by many, even COs, that the prisons were privatized when I was locked up, and they're saying
this happened. The privatization of prison happened before our lifetime, like before we were even alive. That happened.
This is why, like I said, do you guys know this history about, Junior was there when we got this order of protection put against me, and even though order of protection was dropped, they made me take an anger management class, and because for every additional program I have to take there, this is money that they get from their privateers saying, listen, well, these our prisoners are taking, they're getting their GEDs. Like GEDs are mandatory. It's like I don't want it. If you don't want your GED, no problem. We'll take away all your good time. We'll throw you in a fucking box for 6 months. When you get out, you want to take your GED now? Sure, I'll take my GED. And then so like me,
incentive, they get paid for everybody.
Even though I had order of protection that was dropped and thrown away, the fact that it was on my record at some point, they still made me take an anger management class. And I'm sitting there like, I'm with guys who actually need anger management, guys that are beating their fucking kids, beating their wives, just like all people who need anger management. So I need anger management. I took a lot of programs that I shouldn't have had to take, but because of, it said the more programs I took, the more money they would get from their people. So
because if the programs are being used, they get money.
There is federal prisons and state prisons. Federal prisons, technically the federal government runs that, but also federal prisons, that's a different category, because that's like if you were...
That's for federal crimes. That's for when you're doing bullshit like robbing banks and jacking up schools and stuff like
no,
that.
Junior, you keep going. I just wanted to say it before. Yeah. I'm looking up the difference between federal inmates and state inmates, because there is two different categories. So.
I have a question though, Al. That whole thing about putting black people in jail and stuff like that, and the whole thing, I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but shortly after the civil rights movement happened, the industrial era, in a sense, like there was like a second wave of like the industrial era in the 70s, where it was kind of like the whole equality measure of getting people into work and stuff like that. And during the 1970s, shortly after, the whole Civil Rights Act was passed and stuff like that, there was a lot of things that was going on behind the scenes that I wasn't very aware of. I was talking to this older gentleman about it, and he said during those times we also noticed that, you know, when we were always talking about how the single parents in the household have been tremendously on the rise, especially in this generation. But that was also a thing in the 70s too. That was very big, how black families were getting torn apart, you know, and shortly after the Civil Rights Act, when there was like a whole area of like, you know, where it didn't matter what ethnic group you belonged to, it didn't matter the color of your skin, you could still get opportunities, even though they were still, you know, salty about it because, you know, equality literally just was mandated. You know what I mean?
Well, don't get it confused. Like, the concept of people being able to get work is something that always existed. Even in the time of slavery, there were prominent black people. Like, even during the thickness of slavery happening, there were those certain black people who had certain privileges, who were wealthy, who did certain things. So it's not like on its face there was never opportunity for black people. It's just that systematically the systems were created and put in place so that the bulk of black people couldn't rise. And throughout the years, it started to unravel, right? And laws were created, laws were passed, and all these things were put in place so that those things couldn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that coin, there were also all the people who secretly were angry at the rise of the black people.
Yeah.
So behind closed doors, they did shady shit. A lot of those things ended up coming to light, but all that comes to light after people die. Like, when you find out all these federal judges and all these police officers, all these mayors, all these lawyers, all these people, these politicians that were all part of the KKK that all actively worked to make sure that black people were oppressed. You find that out after these people die, years after, in like decades go by.
Like Alton Sterling and, you know, other people when, you know, all that extra stuff. Yeah. Like Tulsa, Oklahoma, for example. Like with Black Wall Street.
That was something that I learned recently. I learned that within, like, around the ending of last year. Like, I had no idea that even happened.
Yeah.
And somebody told me about it, and I had to go Google it to find out that happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is fucking insane. And that was only one major event where thousands of people died, and there were no reckonings, there was nobody put in jail, but that wasn't even the only event. That type of event happened several times, where all it would take for a slew of black people to be murdered was for one white person to say, this person did this, and there would be a riot where they would kill a bunch of people and burn a town down. Like, that happened several times. The Black Wall Street was only popular because of the prominence of that place.
Yeah.
Because that place was a place where money was being made. They were thriving. All the businesses were black owned, and they basically rubbed it off the map, and they was never able to recover after that.
No.
But
that was crazy. Like, when I actually read about like that I think they said something like it was like, no, it wasn't even that big of an area. It was just the people that were living in that area, the small businesses that were there, they were living better than the government.
Exactly. They were wealthy, independent black people, and they dressed nice, they looked nice. Guys wore suits, girls wore church dresses. Like, people, it was crazy. That was the ideal model of incorporating yourself into America. And still, because of the people of that era that just despise the concept of Negroes being uppity, is what they like to call it. You know, one small incident, something as simple as you looking at somebody wrong, or you bumping into somebody, or you crossing somebody's path, or you having the audacity to look somebody in the eyes. These are the type of things that get your whole town burned down.
Yeah.
You know, it was wild.
And it was government sanctioned. Like, it wasn't even like it was something like that was the part that killed me. It was just like, wow. So it was just like the government literally sat there and was just like, yeah, we gotta do this because, you know, we can't allow this to go on under the pretense that somebody falsely accused one of them of rape. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, and then it's funny when you look at today, 2020, you just look at how, you know, how America, like, I won't even say America, I'll say corporate America, just benefits and thrives off the chaos, conflict, and the division of the people. Like, you just see it. And it's just like, because let's just say, for example, you know, if it was a country run by, you know, I'm just giving like a real far-fetched example here. I'm not going to be exact about it at all. But let's just say, for example, you know, us five comprised of the 50,000 people that live in this neighborhood, right? And we all came together one day and just say, you know, enough is enough. We're not going to kill each other anymore. We're going to help each other build. We're going to help each other build. We're going to, you know, give whatever scraps that we can give to each other to help each other and, you know, do better in these neighborhoods.
Listen, I could say this, and honestly, there are many people that have had that thought, and they've even had those discussions. The problem becomes that there are groups of people who will choose not to go along with it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a fact. And that's not just a white thing. That's also a black thing, a Hispanic thing, an Asian thing. Yeah. There will always be groups of people that are just like, we could do that, but I don't want to. Like, they would choose to go the opposite route.
And that's just human nature.
Yeah, and it's wild when you think about it. It's like in America, you sit down and you look around and you see that as a citizen, like I could tell you, I'm an American citizen. I love this country. And if there was something you told me, if I could put money in a pot that would benefit every citizen, I would do it without a second thought. Yeah. I'll be like, oh shit, this could make all citizens better. Let's do it. But there are people who would straight up and down tell you outright, I'm not doing that. Yeah. Like, I don't want to help other people because they would rather hold a grudge for whatever reason. It's like I said before, it's people of all races. It's not white people. It's not just black people. It's not just. I could find an Asian person that's very, I don't want to work with these people. I could find a black person that's very, I don't want to help anybody. I could find white people. I could find Hispanics. I could find any culture or race of people that will definitely be against it. And it's wild because I don't get it. Like, I can't wrap my head around it.
To break it down and make it more simpler, what I was trying to say, not saying that you would need it, but just in general, say you and I had the decision of like, hey, we can like rebuild this and make it better, and majority rules, it's you, me, Elliot, Chris, and Al sitting in a room. We have the idea, we're like, hey, let's do this. But Elliot, Chris, and Al are like, nah.
We're just like, nah, fuck that. We rather see everybody suffer. Like,
we want to see it burn.
When you think about it, you can't wrap your head around what would make these people. Because even if, like, I could blame it on anything. I could say, okay, this person has been affected by racism, so he's angry. I could say, well, this person has been taught to hate, so he's got this belief. Yeah. I could say whatever I want, but the underlying tenet is there. Like, if I could show you, regardless of what you think or what you feel, if I could physically show you that I could put this cup here and this cup hitting this table will save the world, and then you tell me straight up and down, I'm going to do everything I can to stop that cup, it wouldn't make sense to me. I couldn't wrap my head around it. But there are people out there that are like that. They just won't. Like, I hear people argue all the time about like the government socialist programs like welfare, like WIC, like stuff that the poorest people amongst us will get from the government aids. And then I hear other people say shit like, oh, well, my tax dollar is paying for that. Yeah. And I'm like, you're an American citizen and that's an American citizen. You should happily put your tax dollars towards helping your fellow citizen. Like, I would rather see a poor man on the street take my money and buy crack with it so he could have a little bit of alleviation than to watch a politician put my money in his pocket knowing that son of a bitch doesn't need it. He's going to go home to his uppity house with his uppity family with so much money they don't know what the fuck to do with it. They're going to do all the drugs in the world they want. They're going to go on all types of vacations. He doesn't need that money at all. He doesn't need it. Our taxpayers are already paying him a salary. Yep. So it's not an issue that, like, I'm just saying, just as a citizen, we should all want the best for all of us.
See, that's something that you literally just reminded me of something that happened once when we were both working at my job. Yeah. Where, remember how we used to get, like, the coffee makers and you try to set one up in the break room and everyone would be like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea, but then no one would clean it out.
Yeah, except me.
Except for me or Paul.
Yeah, it's like, so, but everybody would use it, though.
Everyone would use it, but the only people who would actually contribute to it were Chris and Paul.
And at one point, like, you know, me and Paul would walk in and say, listen, you got, like, whatever, 15 employees. Guys, and everyone here knows this, coffee pot's coming all the time. Coffee pot is free, okay? 15 employees, 16 employees, whatever. Go buy a Walmart, get a thing at Maxwell House. Maxwell House, $8 That Maxwell House, $8 will last you an entire month. Yeah. You got 15 employees. If everyone threw in 50 cents
Yeah.
it would be covered by everybody.
But
But
then,
People
the
don't wanna
thing
do
of it
it.
is,
but people would rather go to Stewart's or Dunkin' Donuts and blow $3-4 on a fucking coffee
Just for
versus
themselves.
50 cents for the entire fucking month.
And here's the
But
thing:
not
you
just that.
and the other guy would look in, and you would say, "Well, this shit is filthy. We could clean it, and everybody could use it." And then another person would walk in and be like, "I'm not cleaning that fucking pot for everybody else to
Every
use
time.
it." Like that's crazy.
But here's the effed up part.
Yeah.
Now, it was one day, I'm not sure if you were there, not sure if Paula was there, but I'm in the back room, someone was talking, the old assistant manager.
Okay.
They were talking and whatever, and they're like, like, we have this coffee maker here, like, we could clean it out. And they're like, well, we didn't set it up. And then the assistant manager's like, yeah, we didn't. Besides, it's not our responsibility. I don't drink from it. And I'm like, but Chris and Paula do, like, contribute by, like, buying coffee, buying sugar, buying this, buying that. And she's like, well, technically, Paula's not contributing because Paula receives food stamps. So technically, the money that she gets, that she's using to buy it, is technically our money that she's spending.
Jesus, I never heard that.
Wow, you are such a cunt.
Like I'm telling you, when I hear people say that shit, it rubs me the wrong way.
It
Like,
does. I know you're talking about it, too. It doesn't surprise
I watched
me.
a video
That's
the
why I
other
didn't say.
day where I saw a woman that was a cashier in a Walmart somewhere in the country was like just going hard on this woman who was trying to pay for stuff with a fucking food stamp card, the EBT card.
So is
And
it
she
a
was
Walmart
just-
cashier? I'll try to
Yeah,
look
she was
it
a
up.
Walmart cashier, and she was going hard at this woman because the woman was using the thing, and she was just so
Cashier.
offended. She's like, "Oh, my money is paying for your stuff, like all our money and this and that." She was just going in, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, like, you work at, you're a cashier. You are not. You can't even consider yourself an equal pay in terms of what this person is spending. Like, you literally would have to combine your salary with my salary, with everybody's salary, to say this person is getting like it's just I don't know.
There's a lot of them, actually. I mean, when I typed this in, like, the first thing popped up was 3 videos. I'm not going to play them. Woman scolds man for using food stamps video. Shopper, rude cashier embarrasses woman using WIC. A local woman's Walmart money card. I mean, it's just like...
Yeah, that shit just rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, yo, you should be proud. As an American citizen, you should be proud to say, I am, my tax dollars is doing something to benefit the poorest Americans, the ones among us that need it more than anything.
2018. Woman on welfare couldn't afford groceries. Cashier didn't let others help pay. Witness says. What? That's fucking even worse. Like, yeah, it's,
That's rude.
It's cold. Like, it's, you understand, like, and I'm going to say this, and this is
Now,
going to...
I'm technically not supposed to do this in my job at all, but, like, if someone's up at the freaking register and they're, like, a couple pennies short or something, and I have it in my pocket, or, like, say, like, there was this kid once. She came up to buy, like, some stupid little toy. She was, like, $2 or $3 short. I took it out of my pocket and gave it to her. And then gave her the change. Because it's a kid.
we're going to say, Al? Something, you said something was fucked up. But...
I completely lost my train of thought.
No, but
Sorry.
It's not. Don't say sorry because you just.
But you're 100%
said
right
some
though,
real
and this
interesting
is the
shit.
funny part. And it's like, and people, a lot of especially 2020, a lot of issue comes in people with skin color, and I'm like, this is nowhere near skin color. It's rich versus poor, and
That
it's
is literally
like Al
what
said,
the
there
issue
is
is.
people of every single freaking race that look down upon people not based on the color of their skin, just because you're lesser than me
Literally,
because
the
I drive a
only-
better car than you.
Literally, the only reason why there is a racial divide at this point in this country is because the government implants it in the first place. There should be no racial divide at this point.
I could say this. The reason there's a racial divide is because of the history of our country. The history of our country was based
True.
on a racial division from the very beginning.
True, but the
we-
problem now is that people are stupid
Well, yeah.
at this point.
And
And
I
I
was
don't
about to say
see-
is that people keep bringing it back up in terms of using it. Like, honestly, we hear about things in terms of race whenever somebody wants to profit off it. Whenever there's a news station that wants high ratings, or there's a politician that wants to be voted in, or there's like whenever there's somebody, if they could profit on it from some aspect, that's when you hear about it nonstop, constantly.
Exactly.
The downside about it is that it inflames bad feelings because there are
does.
people who have racial feelings, and then those people get offended because, well, how dare you tell me anything? And then they come out of the woodworks and they go crazy, and that just makes it worse. Yeah. It inflames tensions everywhere.
And the problem with it all is like, you should not hate someone based off the color of their skin,
But people know
or
that. Like,
their ethnicity. You should hate everyone the same.
this is the thing, and people know that.
do.
People know that, but they still run with the racist thing, and it bothers me for this reason. You like, even if you are racist, if you secretly believe that I'm better than you because you're that race, right? If you secretly believe that,
Al, I'm better than you because I have a vagina.
You know what? I'm not even. I can't. There's no argument here. You win that one.
Then again, Al doesn't, turn red in the sun. So
Fuck off. So do you, though, bud.
I don't. No, that's me get a sunburn.
Actually, that's true. Fucking Indian.
That's because I'm
blood.
10% Spanish.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Thank you, fucking 123, whatever it is, fucking mydna.com.
You gotta think that Cherokee blood in you,
Listen,
son.
there's people out there who, like, they have 1% African. Now they identify as a black man. Like, and I'm not joking. Like, I did my ancestry.com. It says I'm 0.25% African.
Have you
I
ever
embrace
seen
my
the
African
video
heritage.
of a
Like,
little freaking white girl with blonde hair and blue eyes, and she's sitting there, she has a ghetto accent and shit, and she's like, I know I'm black, I just look white,
okay, she went to ancestry.com.
and so on and so forth, and like,
Got that 3%.
I think that
like,
3% is when she got nutted in.
going on and on and on, and shit, like, she tried to become a rapper.
Talking about this is going to take us in a whole different direction. But talking about that, do you think this thing that people that try to become another race, is that a real type of dysmorphia, or is it just something people are doing to, like, is that real? Has there ever been any research done? Because there are, like, I've seen all these people that, like, have like lightened their skin to like an extreme because they want to be white, and I've seen these people that have like taken these melanin injections because they want to be black, and I'm like, is this a real thing? Like, are people really being born feeling like I should have been another? Because I still stand firmly on my argument that science has already proven that race isn't a thing. Like, we are just different shades of the same damn animal.
At least with Kaya's, like, identity crisis, she's trying to be, like, a color in which identifies to what the shade she is.
See, and this is part of the argument that I make. Why I say that race isn't a thing, because of people like Kaya, who, if race was a real thing, why are all humans able to interbreed with all other humans?
we said that a while back.
You know, like, if race was some kind of difference.
I've said for me, it becomes down to, well, you look at people. Obviously, you look at a Chinese person, a black person, white person. They look different. Which we understand from a DNA standpoint. They're all the same. I mean, don't think from a scientific standpoint. Technically, it's like there is difference in, like, I never forget, like, we all watched House. We loved House, but I like the one episode where House prescribed that older black guy some medication, and the guy was like, "Oh, House is being racist," and he goes, "Okay, you can call me racist, but, like, take this medication. This medication actually is made for African Americans because of the history of, like, high blood pressure, density." And he just broke it down, but of course he just accused House being racist. He goes, "Okay,
but
I'm just saying." Like,
here's the science behind that is all animals, not just humans. Every animal on this planet will adapt to live in any environment they're in. That is a scientific fact. Like, if you could take two puppies born right in this room, if you let one of them go off to Africa and you let the other one go off to Antarctica and let them evolve over 1,000 years, they will turn into two different animals. Like, not in terms of, like, a dog is going to turn into a wolf or a fox or a cat, but in terms of the way they'll evolve to survive in their environment will make them look different.
Even though I know you're trying to make a point, a dog cannot evolve into a cat.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making. That it won't. When I say a different animal, when I say it'll turn into a different animal, I don't mean that a dog will turn into a cat. I mean that two puppies will evolve in two different ways.
I mean, that's over generations, because, like, I'm trying to laugh.
That's how evolution and adaptation works. It takes a while. It takes a long time for it to happen. But it's the reason why some animals that live in certain places, like the giraffe, there's a reason that motherfucker has an insanely long neck, because the shit that he eats, grows on the top of the damn trees. And there's a reason that some dogs that live in places like Antarctica and Alaska or whatever, they will grow a thick furry, shaggy coat. Other dogs in hotter places will have less hair on their body. Like, it's just, and your body will continue to change to better suit the area you're in, which means that if you live in a place where you need denser bone, thicker muscle mass, short hair, darker skin, that's going to happen because of where you live. Yeah. It's the reason that the Chinese people, that Asian people's eyes are slanted is because of where they started out in terms of where they were when they started evolving or whatever. They evolved to live specifically in that place. It's the reason that black people's skins are dark because they evolved to live near the equator. The people that moved further away from the equator didn't need as much melanin. Their skin lightened up. Their hair texture changed. It's just what it is.
See, when I was a kid, Al, I was ignorant as fuck. You know why I said Asian eyes were slanted when I was a kid? I said because they got beat the fuck out to the point that their eyes wouldn't open. I was such an asshole.
Hasn't changed.
I can't laugh at that, man. I got really good Asian friends that hear me fucking laughing at that shit. It's not gonna let me forget it. So I'm gonna in defense of my Asian friends, Junior, that is a fucked up thing to say.
I said that as a kid. I don't believe that shit now.
Line second shit. You know you believe
this
it.
friend called David. David would not get like.
I want to ask you about where's David?
I don't know where David is anymore.
Can you find him? This kid was. I swear.
I call David the racist little bastard.
He should have. No, he would have been a prime example for Chappelle's show. Like this kid, he's got a future in stand up because
I love this kid.
I mean, this little Asian, the shit he would say would make you like, whoa! It's like that's
was hysterical.
But he's a smart, raunchy like South Park Chappelle show Bill Burr like
he's highly intelligent. Like
that's what I'm saying. What some of the best comics I just showed remember to Alan Elliott with the George Carlin thing
because of the fact that he would pick on himself.
Oh yeah, that kid
was one time when Chris first started driving the bus. I took a picture of Chris driving the bus. He sends me back a freaking picture of his eyes, and he's like, "I couldn't drive the bus. I wouldn't be able to see." Or he freaking would walk up to me and he'd just tell me a freaking riddle or a joke and shit. And one time he's like, "Hey Susan, how do you blind an Asian?" I'm like, "How?" And he's like, "Fucking dental floss." Or
Jesus
some shit.
Christ.
And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yo, I got a question, Al. So, we have this friend, in terms of, people, in terms of animals not being able to evolve into other animals. So, how about a man devolving into a cat? We have what's called in our friend group a man cat who sleeps for a good 14 hours a day like a cat. He eats a lot and he sleeps a lot just like a cat. And he hates people just like a cat.
He is the perfect orange cat.
Yeah, he's Garfield. He's literally the reenactment of Garfield.
Reincarnation.
Yeah. So how does one devolve?
I'm gonna be the first person to stand here and tell you that I don't think he devolved. I think he is actually further up the evolutionary chain than everybody else. If I had my way, the existence that he's living is the existence I'd be living.
No, it was not.
Met him.
Listen, you don't want your back to give out just from standing up, all right?
Yeah.
Yo, hey Elliot, I haven't heard from you yet, man. I got a question for you.
Elliot, you've been quiet this entire freaking time.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Elliot. You ready for this?
I had no opportunity to talk.
Interject.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna talk about.
It's like Susan Khan's cutting people off.
We were talking about Chris. You do the same shit. Shut up.
We kind of all do. We kind of all do.
That one podcast, she was like, "Al, not to interrupt you," and I lost count. She said at least 9 times in a row.
Yo, in terms of
not being polite. Sorry.
and no, you're good.
Al,
in terms of Ancestry.com, Elliot, I know you're a mutt. I know you're a mix of fucking everything. You're a mix of Sasquatch. Because you're fucking 6'8". Amazon. You're a mix of koala bear and a couple other things. What else are you a mix of, man?
What's considered white, black, I think some Portuguese,
Jesus
Scottish.
You gotta do that damn DNA.
A bunch. I really don't care because it's not what
it's
my
DNA
is.
I'm just curious.
Well, that's all I know because I won't take one.
Oh, you want?
My DNA doesn't...
He wants to be off the grid.
It doesn't matter what I am because that doesn't define who I am.
Do you think you'll be on a federal database if you went on Ancestry.com?
I really wouldn't care. I'll do
it. Elliot send that shit in, it would light up like Christmas. We got him, guys. We
finally found Elliot. Get him for kidnapping those 3 girls.
Because Sue said so. No. I think I've just seen too many reaction videos of dumbass people crying because white people want to be black. Black people want to be from straight up Africa. These people don't want to be who they were. I'm like, you're just a bunch of
Or like Chris's one cousin who freaking like did the stupid 23andMe, and when it came out like with all these different things but very little freaking Native American Indian, and she's like, it's telling me I'm not Indian, and her fucking sister's sitting there. She's like, are you really my sister? Yeah. Should I be offended?
I'm like Apache and Cherokee
with the sound
effects. Too, but it doesn't really validate me as a person. What am I going to go around and say? Like, hey, go to a corner store. Hey, I'm also white. Don't look at me funny. That's not how it works. I don't care too much because it's not going to make much of a difference. What am I going to do? Write down on paper? You know, I'm also Scottish. I think there's Irish in there, but I'm not a drunk Irish. I can say that I'm part Irish. It doesn't matter.
It might,
you are a drunk Irish.
But it might matter if you're 8% Sasquatch.
It might.
I know I don't have to take a test because all it's going to tell me is I'm from different parts of Africa. That's all that's
if I take that damn test, Jesus Christ, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen to me. I already know it's going to say 60% dead, and I'm just going to fucking shoot myself in the face.
It's probably a lot higher than 60%.
Okay, first of all, it is not a lot higher than 60%. So we got to get that straight right now.
You got unlucky.
All right, because I don't have any of his zero intelligence, so we can already get that straight.
I see no purpose in it. It really means less.
I was just curious, man. That's all. You know.
No, that's why I said I could name what I know. The rest I don't know, and I don't really care.
The only reason I haven't done it is because I don't really believe in it a lot. I mean, I know they say like DNA is a flawless kind of science, but I feel like the way how the police might do DNA testing and the way how these companies are doing it, I don't know if it's the same thing, because I watched this thing on YouTube the other day where there were several people who were twins, identical twins, two people from one egg, which means their DNA is identical. Both send in a fucking DNA sample and get different results. Like, how is that? That's like me sending in my own DNA twice, and both times I get a different result. It's insane. It's crazy to me.
Or the triplets
came
from the same egg
and got different results.
One of them was more, I think, Danish. Another one was more Irish, and they were trying to figure out how, since they all came from the same egg.
Yeah,
their DNA is identical.
DNA should all be exactly the same.
So there should be no variation in the readings. Like, if you're fraternal twins, I get it. Or if you're even fraternal twins that have different parents, because that happens every once in a blue moon, I get it. I get that your DNA isn't lined up the same way. But if you're identical twins or identical triplets, that shit should be the same. Like, it should be 100% the same when it comes back.
DNA for me made no sense whatsoever. Whatsoever. Like, I know, like, the Punnett squares and shit with the, like, big B, little b, little b, little b bullshit.
Shit we had to learn in elementary school.
Periodic table?
Yeah. Well, no,
not the
Punnett
periodic
squares.
Oh, how much of a chance you have to have this hair color, eye color, skin color. Yeah.
And, like, how two people with brown hair could end up having a child with blonde hair in the end, and all that sort of shit.
Small chance, but it's still a chance, yeah.
Exactly. Or, like, how two green-eyed people could end up with a blue-eyed child.
You say that, and you remind me of this. I was reading this thing online, and I can't remember what it's called. It's a word that starts with an A, but it's when two people give birth to a child that's a completely different race than them. Like, two black people could do it, two white people could do it. Like, the first time I heard about it, it was an Irish couple. Two Irish people, stark white, with no African in their lineage. And the wife got pregnant and gave birth to a son that looked mulatto. And her husband thought she had cheated on him, but she didn't. The DNA backed up her claim that he's the father. And they had 3 kids that looked like that. And that's not the first time it happened. There's a word for it, but I can't remember the word. And they say that it comes from, like, genetic memory of, like, it's a weird explanation. I can't even explain it. It's like it can happen to anybody. Like, it could literally be like
the most random of things. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so I talk all the time about the guys that I listen to on YouTube who do the freaking, like, Game of Thrones shit.
Oh, God.
So the one guy actually did this. He went through and did, like, a Punnett square type thing with like how some people are able to ride dragons, some people are able to hatch dragons, and it was like the most interesting freaking video series of his that I ever saw. And like I don't like science that often, but that like was kind of cool.
You guys ready for my asshole comment that I said to this girl the other day? So she was speaking about this whole DNA thing. This girl at my job. She was talking about, she said something really fucking stupid. And she was like, yeah, I'm so forgiving. Even, my boyfriend cheated on me a couple of times. But you know what? It's just in my DNA to forgive him. I said, this is what I said. I said, you would know all about DNA. You swallow enough of it.
You were supposed to back up and catch him with the flash kick. Like, you are stupid.
I was like this. No, literally, I was like, she got mad at me when I said that. When I said that she should know all about DNA because she swallowed enough. But then it was just like, it was just like, but then I also looked at her and I kind of felt sorry for her because she was like, he cheated on me, but I forgave him, And I'm just like, huh. He's probably the type that if you ever got pregnant by him, he hit you with the show you can.
Like, I can understand one time, but after that, that's.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I don't even understand one time, and I mean, I don't want to say this to like try to down anybody who's been with somebody who cheated on them and they forgave him. Forgiveness is good. Forgiveness is key. It helps you in ways, but it's setting you up for failure.
I said this on a former podcast before, where like, if a guy cheated, like, yeah, I'd be pissed, but I can understand it. Guys think about sex every 30 seconds of the day.
There's no justification though, because listen, loyalty is a choice. You could choose. Like everybody, like if you're in a relationship, there's always going to be temptation. You could be with a great girl. There's always going to be other girls that you're going to have access to that you can, if you want to, sleep with them. It's like, it's your choice to follow through or not.
Like I said, it would probably piss me off, but it's not something that I wouldn't be.
I would bail if I'm dating a girl and she cheats on me. I'm out. There is no second chance.
You just brought me to my point, though. Women are more. Well,
don't do that. That's a lie. Women and men cheat at the same rate for the same reasons. That is a fact.
For the same reasons, but women are more deliberate.
Women are cold-blooded because they'll justify it to themselves. Like, dudes know we knew we fucked up. Like, we'll be with a girl, we love that girl, we will fuck up one night with another girl and be like, man, I really fucked up. I hope she never finds out. Like, you know you fucked up. But women are more. They will justify that shit. They'll be like, okay, I am doing this, but I'm only doing this because of all the shit he's done. That's not a reason to do it. If he's doing shit that you don't like, break out. Like, get out of it.
Women are deliberate.
Women are deliberate. You're right. I agree with that. They're deliberate and they're brutal.
And that is why I don't feel like if a woman has a really good guy and then they cheat on them, like, there should be no forgiveness there. Guys, they're stupid.
I don't know. I got a point system on forgiveness. People get 3 points. You fuck up beyond that, you're gone. It's like baseball.
That's a good system, but for
cheat, that's 2 points. No, I'll forgive one major fuck up, and that's a major fuck up. Like, I find out again.
Blood orange,
what is it?
Blood orange. Give me try it.
This fucking thing looks fucking delicious.
Try it.
But I don't know. I think everybody's different. Everybody has what they can tolerate or will tolerate to what they won't. So I can't really say it's wrong or right. Mine is different from others. Some people are gonna be like, "You're fucking dumb, dude. She cheated on you."
Here's the
Most
thing,
likely gonna do it again.
Like maybe. I said, I would never knock anybody because everybody's relationship is different. You can't be on the outside looking in and judging a person. No. But for me, it's like this. I know that I would never cheat on you. Like, I could make that decision. Like, no matter what the temptation is, I could have won. Like, I could be in a room with Beyonce, buck naked, trying to throw it back on me. And if I've got a good woman at home, I'm gonna go home.
You're still gonna.
I'm gonna walk out of that room regretting every step that I take away from that vagina. Like, I would be looking at that box the whole time. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I would go home and tell my girl, I love you so much because you won't believe what I just gave up to fucking be faithful to you. Yeah. But I would make the choice to be faithful. Like, it's easy. It's not hard. People act like being faithful is impossible or hard. It is a choice. You make the choice. It's the whole point of marriage is to make a commitment and acknowledge the fact that you are sacrificing every other possibility because you want to be with this one person.
Yep.
But people overlook that and they make all type of weird excuses like, oh man, nah, I could do this because you whatever. Don't make excuses. If you don't want to be in a relationship, get out. It makes a lot more sense to just get out of the relationship, let that person be angry with you and eventually get over it, than to fucking hurt them in a way that they most likely won't never get over.
See, here's the thing. Sure. For me personally, like, granted, I'm different than a lot of women. If a guy cheats, okay, fine, cool.
Why did she just look me right in the eye and say it?
She wants you to know.
That's the only one that I can actually see.
She wants you to know.
I know, Sue, come on.
But if they do it a second time, like, then it's done. Like, there's a difference in that.
I mean, I get it. I
like,
do get
shame on me. Shame on you if you fool me once, shame on me if you fool me twice type shit.
No, but then there are some females who, like, my boyfriend cheated on me 36 times. The first 35 weren't enough. Like,
I had a conversation with a girl, and I'm not gonna. Jesus. I don't want to say anything because just on the off chance that she might hear this podcast, I don't want to say anything that makes it seem like she's crazy or she's dumb or whatever.
You've already made it seem that.
No, because she's not. Because I know her personally. She's an amazing woman. She's very smart. She's caring. She's kind. She's fucking, she's amazing. But she makes choices in relationships that I just can't wrap my head around. Yeah. She's dated a guy. She was with a guy it was something like 2.5 years where this dude just would berate her all the time, talk down to her, occasionally hit her. I remember one time I was hanging out with her. Her phone rings. She answers the phone. He's on the phone, and he's going off. And she's all types of bitches and whores and cunts and this and that. And I'm like, I tried never to judge her, but I always ask, like, what? I don't get this because it's not like you can't do better. Like, I've seen guys hit on her all the time. Like, you could basically be with anybody, but for some reason, and then I always get hit with this line. Well, you don't understand how hard it is to just walk away. You're right. I don't understand. So help me understand. Because in my mind, it's not that hard. I get that, like I said, from the outside looking in, I don't understand all the dynamics. But make me understand because it looks crazy to me. Like, I would never stay with a girl who is constantly fucking other guys, who is constantly trying to, like, down talk me like I'm not worth shit, but who's doing all this. Like, if all you're bringing to me is negativity and fucking just constant violation, what the fuck am I doing with you? You're not benefiting my life.
Oh my goodness. Do I have something to say here?
That's because, Al, you mean Junior Elliot, the thing is, but I think it's a proven medical fact that men and women, and some women get offended by that, we think on two different wavelengths. Because, like Al's, like, I've met women who sit there and, like, you don't understand how hard it is to walk away. From our standpoint, we're like, no, it's pretty easy. Get up tomorrow, tell them you're broken up, pack your shit, move the fuck out. But for us, that's simple logic. For them, they can't. For them, it's not that simple. And like I said, so that's why some women feel like, oh, well, it's sexist. I'm like, it's not sexist because the things that you do logically make zero sense to us. And they really like
because they don't think with logic; they think with emotion. Women do not think with logic.
He's right. I had a homegirl say to me the other day, like, this is a roundabout thing, but it's tightly based on the kind of sex they're having with this guy or whatever.
Facts.
Because for men, sex is never the thing that gets us in a relationship or keeps us. It's the thing we want, but it's like, if I like you for other reasons. The sex is just a great bonus. Yeah. But for women, sex is the thing that will make her love him. Like, so it's like the better the sex is and the more often they're having it. Like, it's a fact. I'm telling you, I've heard this from women. I've heard women tell me this out of their mouths. Sex is the thing that keeps women in.
Stop looking at me, Sue. You're creeping me out.
You're pointing.
You started looking at me first, and then I pointed.
So I'm like, for dudes, the concept of being in a bad relationship is harder. Because if the relationship is bad, I'm just out.
I'm looking at Junior. I can mentally see his brain, like all the knobs clicking on, because Zeus is right next to him.
All right.
And 2 + 2 equals. Hey, wait a minute. What's going on here?
Here's the thing. I know a relationship right now that is just exactly what Chris said. That makes me laugh hard as day. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I'm gonna tell you guys a quick story. Rooms? No, I'm gonna tell you a quick story, and it's gonna make you laugh. All right, get ready for this. So I was in the car with this girl
back with my mics hard.
A few years ago.
Like this?
This actually happened exactly 7 years ago. I was in a car with this girl, right? She's a good friend of mine.
Mics, man.
But she's the ex-girlfriend of this guy and it was my friend that I was in this girl's cars with is the current guy's girlfriend. Yes, you heard it correctly. The ex-girlfriend was giving me and this girl and my friend, my best friend at the time, who was the current girlfriend of this other guy, a ride. Right? So we're all in the car, all three of us. I was quiet as shit.
Let me wait a minute.
Yep.
Hold up.
Okay, so the girl driving is the ex-girlfriend of the guy.
Yep.
And you and the girl you're sitting with, who's your friend, she's the new girlfriend?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Get ready for the fun part, right? So she knows this, by the way. My friend, she knew that, they used to be together, But I told them, I asked her, are you sure you want to get in the car with this girl? Because you are not going to like what's said. You're not going to like it. She said, you know what? I don't even care. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. I was like, all right. So I called her up. She gave us a ride because we were going back to her campus. I was going back to her dorm. And what ended up happening was they got into a conversation. I was quiet as fuck. When I tell you I was so quiet, you could hear a fucking pin drop around me.
Jesus
I was
Christ.
that fucking quiet. You gotta understand. There's two women that's at each other's throats, but you don't see it. You don't see that they're at each other's throats. But I was so quiet, it was ridiculous, right? All of a sudden, the question came out. The current girl asked the ex, so have you been hooking up with my boyfriend?
That's ballsy.
So
All you heard was,
so no. It gets worse. It gets significantly worse. So she sits there and she says, I'm going along with the sound effects because it's really that serious. So she says, how do you... It's like, so how do you figure his rent got paid for the last 4 months?
damn.
They've been hooking up. They hooked up a total of 9 times. She counted. She said 9 times in the last 4 months that she's hooked up with him, right? And she said, how do you think his rent was paid? Because he clearly doesn't work because he's up underneath you 24/7. When I tell you, I didn't move. I froze. I kept my face out the window. I didn't look at either of them. I was like, nope, you're not involving me. I don't hear shit. I couldn't be out. I was in the backseat of the car. How could I have been out? I was in the backseat of the car. I was looking out like they're gonna fucking kill each other. I'm witnessing a fucking crime scene. I'm literally nervous, like I'm sweating profusely. It was bad. It was so bad. All of a sudden, but now, fast forward 7 years later, she has 2 of his kids. So let's already get that out of the way. She told the girl, I cheated 9. He cheated 9 times with me over 4 months, and she did not care.
God damn.
She still had 2 of his kids.
Damn.
So at the end of the day, what goes to what you're saying, Chris, that women and men do not have the same wavelength at all whatsoever. Because again, women think on emotion, like. And it's 100% emotion. And the reason for it is because, and it's obvious, it's clear as day. It's like, you see on Facebook all the time, oh, my man cheated on me, he ain't shit, this, that, and the third. He always with another bitch, this, that, and the third. You see it on Facebook. You see it all the time, right? But in their minds, what they're posting on the book is that logic in them. That logic is what they're posting on Facebook. What they're actually doing and what they're actually thinking is the fact that, I'm going to find out why he cheated on me, this, that, and the third. I'm going to forgive him. I'm still going to fuck him, this, that, and the third, because I love him, right? But it's just like, I must have did something to make him want to go fuck another bitch. Seriously, that's how they fucking think. And it's crazy to me, because I'm not a second chance dude. You fuck another female, you're gone. Like, it's like, you fuck another man, like, seriously, it's like, if I sit there, and it's just like, my girl cheats on me with another man, you're gone. You're fucking gone. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a flying fuck what your excuse could possibly be. I don't give a fuck. I was like, you could tell me anything in the fucking book. I don't care. If you're not decent enough to break up with me, and you cheat on me and I find out, you're gone.
And that's the scary thing is like a woman will justify it in a crazy way. She's like, well, I cheated on you because you did this and this and this. For me, I don't care what your reasoning is. I don't care what your excuse is. If you do that shit, I'm out. Like I'm the type of person that if I could be married to you, we could be living together, and you cheat on me, you will come home from work to an empty fucking house. I will break out. Like I will be gone by the time you get home.
Or her bags will be at the door and she's gonna fucking get out because chances are you're the one that got the house in the first place. It's like bottom line. It's like while she's giving me all those excuses, her bags are already being packed. It's like it does that, but that's me personally. It's like what you guys said and hit the nail on the fucking coffin. The tolerance level, especially Elliot, holy shit. I was literally just sitting here like, holy shit, I have so much to say about what he just said. The tolerance level is fucking ridiculous. I know this one girl who didn't break up with her man until she got an STD. Like, Jesus. She knew that he was cheating, but until she got an STD and it was something serious, she didn't break up with him. It was curable, thank God. She got medication. It was like... It was crazy. It was fucking ridiculous. I was like, holy shit. I was like, God damn.
Some girls don't leave the guy until another girl tries to kill him. Like, you're going home from work and some random chick you never met, never heard of, never spoke to, runs up on you, ready to fucking give you the fade, and you don't even know what's going on. It's because your man is fucking this other bitch and lying to her. Telling her all types of stupid shit. Like, me and my girl don't get along, and she's constantly harassing me. And meanwhile, you're at home living a happy existence. And some random girl tries to fight you because you're coming home from work. Like, that's wild. Like, but it happens. And they still won't leave that guy.
I mean, I think it's, at least from my experiences, there's definitely all kinds of factors. I always felt like for females, like, I mean, it was definitely a joke that I heard growing up until I actually did it myself. But like, people would always say that, strippers have like a lot of daddy issues and problems. And I can attest to, at least my girlfriend and top all her friends, a lot of them, I'd sit down with them between dances and talk to them and get to know them. Really wonderful women, really sweet people. Listen to their backstory. You're like, holy fuck, there's a reason they're stripping for. And a lot of times, from females, it's definitely a self-esteem issue. I said that in their self-esteem, he keeps hitting me and beating me or cheating on me because they're just, no matter how good looking they are, they don't feel like they're like, I don't deserve better than him. And I'm like, wow, you look that wonderful and you're dating that pig.
But this is the thing, that's true and that does happen. But that's not just strippers though. That's like on average. That's like the average female that goes through that bullshit. Yeah. Like, cause I've heard girls say to me. I had a good friend of mine say to me that she used to date a guy who used to do all these things for her, and she felt it made her feel unworthy. Like she didn't, and it was wild to me because I don't understand that in this day and age, women would think like. I just don't get it. In my head, I didn't even grasp the concept that thought process was happening in the minds of women until it was said to me. Because I was like, that's wild. Like, because men are taught that if you want her to trust you, rely on you, depend on you, know that you're trustworthy and dependable, then you have to prove that to her. You got to do all these things to let her know that I love you and I want to take care of you or whatever. But then when you do all that stuff, women are like, oh, nah, you're doing too much and it's making me uncomfortable. So I'm going to pick this guy that isn't doing anything for me and just, I'm going to shack up with this one. And it just doesn't make sense. It's wild.
Well, I mean, here's the idea about that. In this generation, women seem to think that men value the chase. And on the opposite side of that equation, they feel like that, so men put forth that extra effort to prove to the girl that I'm the guy for you, right? Nowadays, it's more of a physical attraction before anything else. It's like, before any of that, it's physical attraction. Because once you actually have sex with the girl, you're going to come in contact with her again, especially if the sex was good. If the sex was, in this generation, sex is like an interview. Sex is the interview to start talking to them. And I quote, talking. I hate that fucking phrase, talking. Oh, I talked to him for 6 months. Well, what the fuck did you talk about? You know what I'm saying? And that's literally in my mind. But at the end, but what it is though is that it's not the fact that they were talking; it's the fact that they were fucking for 6 months, right? No real relationship. They said, "Oh, I talked to him for 6 months," but then he cheated on me after we were talking for 6 months. I'm like, wait. Hold up a second. So is there a difference between talking and being in a relationship? Yes. Okay. So you establish that you're talking, but you're not in a relationship. Yes. So you're, and my idea is, so so it's like, I literally, like, I confused this one girl with this. I was like, so you mean to tell me that you talked, right? So you talked about being in a relationship. No, we just fucked with each other. Okay. So in your mind, you were in a relationship, but in his mind, he was just getting consistent pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
And she was just like, no, that's not how it was. But that's exactly what it was. I was like, I'm going to tell you how a guy thinks. I'm a fucking guy. Obviously, I know how guys think. If you tell me we're talking, I'm thinking in my mind, like, so we're fucking.
We're just fucking, exactly.
So it's just like, yeah, but we're talking. No, that's not how this works. It's, we're either in a relationship or we fucking. There's no gray area for this. It's not, oh, we talking, but you're not talking to nobody else. That means we're in a relationship because it's exclusive. Because a relationship is a verbal agreement between two people that you're not going to go fuck everybody around, right?
Facts.
But if you're just talking, if you're just talking, then it doesn't matter who I fuck. But in her mind, and this is again when we say that men think with logic and women think with emotion. Yeah. That's why I can't bring myself to just fuck a girl that I like immediately. I can't, because it's like, I need to see where her mind is at before she gets this dick. Mm-hmm. I'm not giving her dick off the bat. Fuck that. I'm withholding dick. Just like women will withhold pussy, which they should. You shouldn't just fuck a guy immediately because you find them, physically attractive. Unless the sexual chemistry is there and you're just trying to get your rocks off, that's different. That's 100% different. But when you sit there and you say that you're talking to someone with no actual communication, you're just fucking. Facts. And this generation is so bad at communication that you can't even convey that simple concept.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because what you just said, like, ask anybody who's right now 18 to 30, and they would look at you like you're fucking retarded.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I said, we talked for 6 months. In my brain, I'm like, literally in my brain, because I get stupid. I have to bring my intelligence level down to theirs to have the conversation with them, because I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. You guys did talk for 6 months. He's a piece of shit. No, see, with me, it's like in my mind. So now I don't bring myself down to their level. I just keep them down at that level, and I elevate myself, and I say, well, what did you talk about? Well, no, that's not what I meant. No, but that's what it is, though. You can't. It's like you can't just establish, oh, well, we were talking. No, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's just like, that's why it pisses me off when you look at shit like that. Like you look at that really fucking grinds my gears. I swear to God, the whole phrase of talking grinds my fucking gears. It's like, that's like, Elliot and Sue going out, right? That's just like,
ew.
Jesus Christ. Now think about it like this, right? Sue says to Elliot, oh, we talking now. Elliot's like, oh, we just talking? You know what I mean? Like, oh, we talking? Oh, yeah, you're right. We just talking. They're fucking with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, but 6 months go down the road, Elliot's fucking like 3 or 4 other girls. Sue over here getting pissed off and upset. Like, the fuck is she doing fucking with other girls? We just talking. Like, there's no relationship. But nowadays, talking means that you're in a relationship, and that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, that, Chris, I agree with you. That I agree with you to the extent with the slang talk that's fucking retarded. I agree with you to that extent and only to that extent, because that is the one part of slang I can never understand. That talking does not mean that you're in a fucking relationship.
Well, it's not just talking though, but this is just broad general terms. Like, how many other times like can somebody say something and like you understood basic grade school English and like, oh, I didn't mean it that way. Well, I'm sorry if like I don't speak your warped fucking dialect because you're from a different part of the city or state from me. Like I said, just talking. Like, what is that? Shouldn't even have to be explained.
Yeah. Just say you're fuck buddies. Why say talking? Just say, oh, we're fuck buddies right now. We're getting to know each other, but we're fucking with each other.
But that's my overall, like, not just with slang in general, but just the overall premise of what it is. Because like, when you focus so much on your dialect, it's like that dialect only works from where you're from. Like, in other words, if you're in Albany and you speak a certain just Albany slang, if you travel anywhere outside of Albany and you speak this way, in your mind, you mean these certain things a certain way. These people look at you like, what are you talking about? Like, so if you just speak a general dialect that everybody understands, like everyone who knows grade school English knows what mother is or father is. That's it, But then if you may, from your area, you call dad something different than what they, it's just, it comes this weird thing, like I said, just talking. Like somebody from a different part of like Alabama or Oklahoma, just talking to them. It's nothing sexual or nothing dating terms. Like it's
okay. I have another thing too. Keep it on the conversation of slang. There was one thing that I wanted to point out before that I didn't get a chance to the last time that we were talking about slang. You know, we kind of had like a passionate. it was a passionate talk between the five of us at that point in time. But the thing is
passionate due to the amount of drunkenness.
Pretty much. So it was the fact that it's like when we go on Call of Duty, right? When me and you we play Call of Duty and we kill somebody. And then they talk shit over game chat, right? Yeah. We be in game chat and they'd be like, "Oh, fucking Rockets, you fucking piece of shit, you're trash." And then I'll sit there and say, "Oh, you're fucking salty." Now, here's the thing, right? Now you would say, "Oh, why did you call them salty for?" I'm like, "Well, the idea of something being salty is that they're bitter, right?" So sometimes you can use slang in the proper context. It just means something different. Yeah. I mean, you can call somebody like there's this phrase at work that these guys like to use. I personally don't like to use it because it doesn't make any fucking sense. But one time they told me, they was just like, "Oh, he's big mad." Well, and then it's just like now in your concept, Chris, in your context, you're like, what the fuck is big mad? You know, big mad means really upset, but they're not going to say really upset. They're going to say big mad. Or when somebody says, like when we like, let's say we're talking and you know me and you are like in a passionate conversation about Smash Brothers. Yeah, and then it's just like I'll say one time like, "Yo, I dead ass cleaved his soul." You know what I'm saying? And like, well, what's dead ass? You know, what's dead ass?
Why is his ass dead?
You know, yeah, but you would think that, but you would mean like in the context, it's like in especially where we live, when somebody says dead ass, it's like we're serious about it, or we will say we really did that. You know, like we're dead ass serious.
Anybody wants to know what dead ass means, just go to New York City for one day. Yep. You will understand it.
Yeah.
Big mad. I would never fucking listen to anybody that repeats a fucking phrase that came out of Tekashi 6ix9ine's mouth.
Oh my God.
Big mad is a fucking
like you're saying, Junior, I totally get what you're saying, and this is my point. Like when they say to you big mad and you feel like that's really stupid, you wouldn't say that. So when someone says on Call of Duty or Smash Bros, "Are you being salty?" For me, someone saying salty is just as dumb as somebody saying big mad to you.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I never once.
But it's used in a proper context, though. If somebody says that you're salty, that means you're bitter about losing.
Then just say, "Why are you bitter? Why are you mad?"
I mean, but yeah.
The proper context of salty was like, "No, I'm not a pretzel or a cup of water. That's salty."
Well, I mean,
in proper context.
Yeah, but at the same time, though. But again, in slang terms, though, if you're bitter about something and they call you salty, that's a proper context.
Well, the proper context of slang.
Yeah.
The thing is, though...
But you can't call it stupid.
If you understand it, then... If you understand what they're trying to say, then it doesn't matter that it's slang or not. Because I'll put it to you like this. I could say, "Stop being bitter." The reality, bitter is a fucking taste. You can't be bitter. Not unless I lick you to determine that. So me calling you bitter is a slang, right? So, but you understand what I'm saying.
I thought bitter was a taste and an emotion, though.
It's not an emotion; it's a taste.
Yeah, it's a taste.
But
he's right. He's 100% right.
People have used it in terms of emotion for so long that we acclimated it towards that meaning in the English language.
It might change to that, and that's also the problem with Oxford Dictionary is.
Well, that is what I'm saying.
They will change things.
It will change. It's just like if you give the phrase "salty," if you give that enough time, you'll find it in Webster Merriam's dictionary as an emotion, right? Because people will use it to that effect, to the point of it becoming that.
Well, that's my problem. It's like, it's like, even like it's 2020 or now it's July. I don't know what month, it's sometime happened in 2020, but like it takes one person on Twitter to share us with 5 friends and 10 friends, and like this term fucking Karen. Even Joe Rogan talked about that. When what day did that become? When did it happen?
What's impressive about the term Karen?
Who decided that?
It almost happened overnight.
Exactly.
It just took
one person
to
fucking
say it,
person,
and everybody is. Yeah. This is the speed of which trends are created. Yeah. Right. This is we're in the age of social media, which makes the world that much smaller because we have access to everything. Like literally, I could talk to people in China, in Switzerland, in Germany, like right here on my phone right now. That we couldn't do that 25 years ago. Yep. So it made the world a very small place. So in the age of social media, when something happens, all it has to do is have a group of people think it's catchy. That's all that needs to happen. A small group of people, 10 people think this shit is catchy. They jump on Twitter, and it's a thing now.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the way that goes.
That's why I'm overall against, because it's like, what's next week to say, "Hey, stop being a Susan"? Like, What?
Okay, all right.
But the five of us can agree that Susan means something, and give it a month on Twitter.
Well, here's the thing about Karen, though. Before...
See, Susan is a concept, though, because in a lot of memes, they do use the name Susan.
Yes, they do. So, but here's the thing, though. Karen was actually used for years. And the reason for it was because, and I'll tell you, the only reason why it got big is because social media is at the biggest it's ever been. That's why Karen is used so universally now as opposed to years back. Because years back, you would see little memes on Facebook where it's like, oh, here comes this fucking Karen coming in and ready to talk to my manager, because you see that typical haircut that, well, you know, you see, right, Elliot? Like you
fucking
go,
love those freakouts.
Yeah,
I fucking love them.
It was like, oh,
I
fuck.
want to speak to your manager.
Yeah, and then like you see that I don't know if it was Jordan Peele or who it was, but it was that brown dude that was like sweating in the picture, and then you see like the whole Karen haircut, and like, oh, here comes Karen, I want to talk to your manager, and then you see him sweating in the fucking picture. Like that meme is years old. That's like 7 or 8 years old. That's not that. Those are old. But the reason why Karen became such a universal term is because social media blew up.
Yeah.
And it was just that's why these terms become so crazy. Like it was like the one meme about Susan, like about the Susan, right? Yeah. It was just like, oh, when it was just like, oh, it was something about, oh, don't talk to my man or something like it was something about, oh, don't talk to my man or something like that. And it was like some white girl that was in the picture, and then this black girl commented under the picture is like, okay, Susan, what are you gonna do about it? And it was just like, you know, then that blew up. And all of a sudden it blew up, and now they're just like, oh, on social media, white girls that try to threaten people are called Susan.
And it's gonna be funny. Like, imagine my son listens to this 10 years, telling his friends they're all drinking beers 25. Like, you guys remember my dad minute podcast? How stupid were people in 2000s where he actually used the word Karen as derogatory? Like, what idiots did that? Because, like, you know, these terms, they don't last. That's the problem. None of them last.
I'll tell you what, they don't last depending on the relevance they have and the meaning they have. The term Karen, I predict that this one could go the distance.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
The reason it's going to go the distance is because it offends a lot of people. That's the reason that's the thing that makes words stick. Like if it's a term that is just funny or jovial and we enjoyed it for a time, it'll fade away. But if it's a word that is offensive to a segment of people, it's not going anywhere. Like it's not. That's just
it's going to stick,
but
especially
that's gonna
if you've
take,
seen the
like
COVID
salty.
Karen outbreak.
Or though it's going to
like
take
salty's going nowhere.
But that's going to take a matter of time though before certain people just embrace it, and then they laugh it off though. So it's like how many terms like from the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah,
like,
but those are the funny terms. Like Junior said, the Karen is 7 years old already. We just didn't acknowledge it. Somebody just probably used it in the right way
at
on
the
a funny
perfect
joke
time.
at the perfect time, and everybody was like, "Oh, here we go. This one's good."
Yeah, but like Jim was saying, but a term like big mad, there's plenty of terms I see on social media that are just as stupid. It's like, how are you? What the hell how does mad get big? Like, but these guys, but to them,
but they use it. Big.
You know?
Those type of things will, like the term big mad. It's that's the kind of term that fades away. People are going to use that now because it's popular, but then when the next fancy phrase comes up, that's the kind of shit that fades away. It's like, but it's not. But that phrase isn't offensive to a segment of the population. So it's like it's one of them things that people use because it's cool. Like I'm hip and I'm cool, so I'm using this phrase "big mad." Yeah. That's going to fade away with the next hip, cool, fucking phrase. But something like Karen, that's here to stay. Like
I do want to take some time in this podcast. One of us, we need to make a trend, and once we say it, we copyright that, and watch how just like because when some people say, "Where did this term come from?" Well, these assholes on a podcast in their basement made this in like August of 2020. Because
there is no phrase that we could do that we could put together in a string of words.
There is something we can do
in the human language that has not been said before. Not a single phrase.
All right, guys, you ready for this? So, speaking of social media, there is a meme that spoke to me.
I hate memes.
Oh,
and I'm going to read this. And Susan has found this, and shout out to her for finding this because
Thank you, Angelique, for posting it in the first place.
And I'm gonna read it.
That's Jamie's friend who should come down here.
I hate when people ask me what I did. I hate when people ask me what I did yesterday. I don't know. I breathed a lot. Probably got mad at something. Sighed heavily. The list goes on. I have never seen a meme on Facebook speak to me in a way that this has spoken to me in my life. Shut up. Hey, it's working, right? You don't see a lot of bald spots anymore.
Today,
it's working.
at least.
So, shut up. Anyway, that spoke to me heavily. But on the topic of social media, it's like there was a trend that was going on for a while. I couldn't get enough people to do it. but it was literally just like there was like a hamburger bun that was on social media, and this one guy just said bun. It was like, you don't say anything else. You just look at it and you just say bun. And then people shared it, and then another person just said bun. You don't say anything else. You don't comment on the picture. You don't have a caption. All you do is say the word bun. Yeah. And it got 40,000 shares.
No,
I'm not surprised.
Like,
you want to hear something far more ridiculous than this? I think I told you about this one night. There is a Facebook group, somebody tried to get me to join it, where people are ants.
Oh, yeah, you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about this.
I think it has tens of thousands of people.
When you say they're ants.
No, like they role play
ants.
as ants. Their job is to protect the queen and the colony, and people read out what they were typing. It's a private group, and I'm like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, come on, join. We're all going to be a bunch of ants. I'm like, no. But it's fun. Like, no, I'm not an ant. I was like, I hate ants. I'm like, can someone burn the ants? Well, one person tried, but they got kicked out. I'm like, I don't want to be an ant.
Well, I mean, you want to know trends that's actually really scary? Here's a trend that's really scary. No, one of the trends that gets me. Oh shit. Is the whole, it's not funny, but it's funny at the same time. The new trend that's out right now is the Will Smith and Jada Pinkett thing that's going on right now.
They've got so many like I'm gonna admit, I'm gonna be the first to admit that a lot of those memes that I've seen
are funny as fuck.
Fucking hilarious. Like
funny as fuck.
I looked at them and cried. I laughed so hard, tears streamed down my cheeks.
Minimum 10 minutes per meme I was laughing at. What? Because like when you see Will Smith and there's one person drew him as a member of the Akatsuki, they made him paint to be thou shalt no pain. Like I fucking laughed for like 10 minutes. Now while it's not funny because of the fact that it's like, damn, Will Smith is a very forgiving guy, but there's a lot of, but at the same time though, it was funny as fuck. Because it was like, yo, they drew him to look like Nagato, and it made me laugh.
Oh shit, he's Pain.
It made me laugh my ass off.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, facts.
I'm telling you, that shit is amazing. Those memes are fucking amazing.
Oh, here we go. This is another meme that gets me. All right, this is another meme that gets me. There's a picture of a girl. This is from one of the Fast and Furious movie. I think it's the second one. Yeah, okay. Too Fast, Too Furious. Is the one that says
movie sucked.
Bitches be like oopsies. Now she's crashing her car, and then
nice car, by the way.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice car. But then this stupid bitch decided to post and then blame it on their zodiac, like, oh, sorry, I'm an asparagus.
The fuck?
No. Let me tell you something. Obviously, obviously, he's a fucking idiot. Now, obviously, he's a fucking idiot, right? He's a fucking idiot. Now, we already know this, right? But it's true. It is, with the context of that comment, while it's fucking retarded, is very true. Where women are much more, susceptible of blaming their zodiac sign for dumb shit. And I see that sign all over social media. Like there was this meme on social media where it's just like, oh, Aquariuses ain't shit, or fucking, oh, if you're a Leo, then you naturally hit women. I'm like, how do you fucking, it's just like, how do you even generally, like, how do you even generalize people like that? Like, it fucking pisses me off. It's like, that also grinds my fucking gears. It's just like,
that bothers me too.
That's fucked up.
Elliot, when were you born?
85.
No, like month.
May.
So you're a Taurus then?
No, I'm a Gemini.
You're a Gemini. All right. So here's the thing, right? So because you're a Gemini.
This is amazing.
It's just like
Elliot just shared something.
Oh fuck!
What does it say? Say it out loud, Junior.
Fuck! Oh my god!
What's it say, Junior?
Oh my god!
It's 3 anime girls and Will Smith.
Yeah, it says wants to be dominated, will dominate you, will ask you to be gentle. Will Smith. Yo. When I tell you how fucked up this shit is, because I understand this fucking context. I understand the context of this shit. This is fucked up. It's funny, but this is fucked up.
Gotcha, bitch.
Hilarious, but fucked up. All right, Chris, you need to stop with these damn sound effects.
Yeah, you're overboard with the sound effects, guy.
Yo, this man.
I love the cold-blooded.
Yo, you need to just start playing sound effects before you start talking about Twitch gaming, because
I've mentioned Twitch gaming yet. I'm tempted.
I'm actually very surprised. I'm very
Have you
surprised.
seen yesterday? We talked about Joe Rogan.
Oh no, you heard that he's in Austin, Texas now, right?
Boy, did he piss off the internet yesterday?
He's in Austin, Texas now, right?
Well, no, he talked about the months ago. Once his Spotify deals, he's going to be officially moving to Texas because LA's getting like fucking bad. Like, no, I said Joey Diaz, and like we talked about this last time. Joey Diaz said, to anybody listening to this right now, he goes, listen, he's moving too. And Joey's been in LA for like so long, but he goes, guys, right now it's 2020. He goes, do not feel ashamed. He goes, I have friends that are moving back in with their mother that are living out of their fucking cars. He's like, do not feel ashamed because like people seriously don't get, because so many people are spoiled and fucking privileged, how many people legit are starving and businesses are shut down and are not working, have fucking nothing. This is, and a lot of people they're moving. It's like also with the gun laws are a factor too, and riot. It's all kinds of reasons. But like a lot of people have been talking about Texas lately for a lot of reasons like this. I don't know.
Well, oh Jesus Christ!
But definitely Joe is like any kind of celebrity. Joe is pissed off the internet, and people will get over it.
That's actually very true. You guys have you guys ever noticed, like, when you sat there and you always talk about a specific product for a long period of time, it shows up on your Facebook all of a sudden?
Oh, I mentioned, what's funny? When Carlton came down, I've never posted on social media anything about Rex Goliath, and Carlton Fine mentioned on his podcast Rex Goliath. Once I uploaded a podcast the next day on Facebook, I seen, no bullshit, a fucking t-shirt advertising Rex Goliath.
Yeah.
I've not posted so far on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, none of my social media outs on my phone. I've not mentioned Rex Goliath whatsoever. After I uploaded this podcast and Carlton did his whole 5-minute Rex Goliath commercial, that fucking day, Facebook is offering me ads for Rex Goliath t-shirts. I'm like,
yeah.
Nope. That's why there's.
I've never even seen Rex Goliath merchandise whatsoever on my fucking phone until after that podcast was uploaded.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, hold on.
I'm telling you, it's these apps that are on your phone really do listen.
If that wasn't a fucking flag, like, so the amount of porn I've watched, holy shit, like.
Well, that's why I got so many porn stars following me on Instagram.
I probably should have disabled my camera a long time ago.
Shit that pops up on the Wish account.
Yeah. Oh my God. The Wish. Let's talk about Wish. Wish has one of they sell the craziest shit on
everyone
Wish.
sells the craziest shit, but Wish is bad.
Yeah,
when it comes to it, because they will literally send you in like a newsfeed on Facebook a freaking like, you might be recommended in this like porcupine dildo that you can shove up your ass, which will only cost you $12.
Talk to me more about this.
Tomorrow our phones are all going to be showing us pictures of porcupine dildos.
Well, I mean, Chris might purchase one because
I've drank 2 Mark's Hard Lemonades and a Mike's Hard Lemonade, and tell me more, Susan.
Well, I mean,
or like they'll like send you freaking like ads for like buttless chaps. Like
assless chaps.
I've said on this podcast, anybody here, my ass can take the biggest pounding, so it's
probably. Anyhow,
that's what she said.
On that note, I think I went to the bathroom and radio snake. That just made it uncomfortable.
I'm so offended that the chair I bought for Al Jr. is sitting in, like that upset me.
Yo, listen, the chair, I wanted to try it. I was psyched about it, but then I saw the material it's made of. And it scared me. See, Jimmy, I've destroyed that.
This upset me. Like, the kind of friend I am. I'm out there. I'm paying bills. I'm running errands.
You're a piece of shit.
I'm out there shopping, and the first thing I'm thinking about is Al's ass. Okay, like Al's ass is a priority for me. So I bought a chair that was gonna suit his ass, and you're sitting in it. Like,
definitely not gonna be taken out of context. It's gonna be a meme. I was out today, and I thought of Al's ass. Facts.
You know what kills me is Chris is not a good friend. Like I realized something over the years. Chris is not a good friend. Like
that's why you're the most hated.
He literally sits there. And you wouldn't think it at first. Like, you would think like he was like so passionate, so supportive. But the next thing you know, he tries to set you up.
Yeah.
Like, he really does. Like, it'd be like, yo, I'm about to go see these 2 girls. I really want you to come with me. And I'm like, all right. like when the night that I was projectile vomiting, I was fucking blacked out. And I remember this. He calls me while I'm at a party, already fucked up. Hey, do you want to go to a strip club?
Hey.
I am. Listen.
The answer's always yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
the answer's always yes. But the thing was, I was already fucked up. And I was continuously drinking at this time. And I was hanging out with some girls at the time.
Yeah.
And it was like, I get the call. They'll be like, oh, I'm about to go to a strip club in Saugerties. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go to a strip club in Saugerties.
You had a good time.
I did. I had a fucking great time. Holy shit. I've never gotten so many lap dances in my life. Yeah. That shit was fucking amazing.
That was thanks to Mary.
That was fucking amazing. And then, I the couple of parts that I was remembering was that I was trying to play basketball, throwing a 10 in somebody's fucking thong.
Probably, yeah.
And I was just like, I was literally playing with 10s. Like, I wasn't playing with ones like a normal person. I was playing with 10s. And then I woke up and I realized, why did I spend $850? And I was like, holy fuck, I spent a lot of fucking money. Well, every time I go to a strip club, I spend a shit ton of fucking money, especially if I'm fucking drunk. And I was just like, fucking Chris. I was just like, he fucking brought me to the fucking strip club. And every time I go to the strip club when I'm fucked up, I spend a shit ton of fucking money. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I had a fucking time of my life. I don't remember much about what happened when I left, except for the fact that Chris constantly reminds me of how much I threw up. Like, I fucking threw up my fucking insides. Like, he never ceases to try to remind me. And that's how bad of a friend he is. Like, he would have left me to die in that fucking parking lot. Like,
I wish I had a camera phone back then.
Okay, see, again.
I would have recorded all of it.
Again.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't record that.
Yeah, you did.
Again.
If I record it, it'd be on YouTube right now. Trust me.
You had
again,
the phone.
bad friend. He's just
think,
giving me more examples of how much of a bad friend he is. Like, he wouldn't have thought to bring me to the hospital for alcohol poisoning.
Oh, hell no.
Considering that I had a handle of Fireball, literally a handle. I drank an entire handle of Fireball, and I was drinking at the bar.
That's American.
And I was done.
Mary's like, is he gonna be okay? I'm like, probably. Like,
fucking asshole. Like, it was like, yo, full on alcohol poisoning, and he's just like, fuck it, he'll be all right.
Have one more drink, buddy. Like,
Jesus Christ. Yo, I put in this Will Smith and Jada Pinkett.
Oh, Christ.
These fucking entanglement memes are out of control.
No.
Out of control. And they're getting worse by the day.
And you don't feel bad for Will.
No. This one says,
Listen.
Just call him Smith because he lost to Will.
Jesus Christ.
These fucking entanglement memes are fucking outrageous, yo. Like,
that's fucked up.
I mean,
Yo, you go on Twitter and you look at the list of women that's like, if Will wants to get back at Jada, I'm available. There's like 30,000 fucking porn stars.
Yeah,
and
he's an ugly man. Like, shit.
Oh, fuck.
But that's the funny part, Al. You're talking. I've read some comments about that. People were saying, like, yeah, it wasn't years ago. They kind of mentioned they had a somewhat open relationship and this and that.
They
like,
did say that a while back.
But then right now, but the internet, though, besides the memes, they're like tearing Jada a new asshole. Like, holy fuck. Like,
I don't feel bad for Jada either.
oh, man.
Yo, what the fuck? It says, me at my sugar daddy's house trying on his wife's clothes. About to get into an entanglement.
Damn.
What the fuck is going on? Yo, these entanglement memes are out of fucking control.
I did pull this up out from earlier. This actually says that are identical twins 100% genetically identical? And it says identical twins share their DNA code, but fraternal twins don't. So,
yo, this one's bad. This one says that look you give her when you're thinking, say one more entanglement, and I'm gonna start an estranglement.
Jesus Christ!
We already knew that the identical twins come from a single egg. Fraternal twins come from two different eggs. Yeah. So fraternal twins getting different DNA results makes sense, but identical twins getting different results makes no sense. Like,
I did look up, so I did type in for you, like, so we have a topic, which is a great part of our podcast. I typed in, what year did prisons get privatized? This is saying that private jails, prisons, and detention centers have a long history in the U.S., as far back as 1852, when San Quentin was the first for-profit prison in the U.S., long before it was state-owned. But
how much does this shit cost? Yo, this Wish.com is crazy. So there's this product that Susan got. She didn't get, but Why is there 4 things in your cart? Anyway,
And then t-shirts.
it's like two.
There they are.
Two style.
You could literally tap on it right now.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Relax. I know you didn't get this.
She cleared her history.
All right. 2 style new male masturbator cup, 3D realistic vagina mouth sucking pump pocket pussy.
Dear God.
I was like, holy fuck. Holy fuck. How much does shit cost?
$23.
That's fucked up.
$23?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Jesus Christ. Why is there an Asian girl there?
Everything from which comes out.
Oh. So they just mold some random Asian girl's pussy and just put that on there.
Believe it or not, that shit has happened to people.
Wait, let me see that. Let me see that.
It says here, you can read it. So
Oh my fucking god. Another fucking entanglement meme.
Ellie had this on his phone. So.
Oh God.
Ellie's gonna be looking up entanglement memes all night. It says when you come home from a 9-month-long deployment, your girl is 6 months pregnant. It has Will Smith with an army hat on. Oh my fucking god, that's fucked up.
Oh God.
Yo, I mean, as much as they're slaughtering Jada on there when they're talking about entanglement, because it's like, yeah, it's regardless. If you're not happy in a marriage, why don't you just get a divorce? It's just like, I don't understand why you're gonna cheat and then fucking call it an entanglement. And it's just like, bitch, you cheated. Get the fuck out of here. Entanglement. Like, really? I got I didn't cheat. I got into an entanglement. And then you say with a smile, it's been so long since I've been happy. And Will Smith's just sitting there like, the fuck? Bitch, you cheated. And it's just like, we've been married for so fucking long. And it's just like, yes, Will Smith did cheat on his ex with Jada. Okay, but this isn't a measure of karma. It was just like Will poured all of his love and all of his effort into establishing a family, and you're just gonna do some dumb shit like that. See, that's that cuckoo shit that I don't fucking like. And then you try to make it seem like it's his fault that you're not happy. Bitch, it's your own fault that you're not happy.
Cheated on him with?
Huh? August
August
Alsina. Yep.
He's a fucking R&B singer.
Yeah, he's an R&B singer, and it was just the fact. It was just like, okay.
See, I would have thought it would have been Tupac because, like.
But again, the problem.
No, I mean they were legitimate. See, they were legitimately best friends. I was
Actually,
like, the type of relationship that Tupac and Jada Pinkett had was so. You would think like, oh my god, they were like lovers to be and stuff like that. No, they were.
He like once made the statement. He was like the only guy I was ever like. Jealous of the relationship he had with her.
Yeah.
It made him uncomfortable to be around them together.
But they were so close. And like Tupac and Jada were legitimately best friends. Like they were inseparable because they shared a special relationship. And when Tupac died and shit like that broke her because it was like, damn, like, and that would break anybody if you're really close to somebody and that shit happens. But at the same time, that's still that still doesn't even carry any fucking weight to what you did to Will Smith. Because Will Smith worked his fucking ass off to get his family to where they are to this day. Yeah. This motherfucker directed movies, starred in movies, fucking left his family for so long suffering in these situations and stuff that to provide for his family. And I mean, there are times that he did value success over the actual part of being a family. He pushed his children into doing something for themselves as well. Like he wanted success more. At one point, he wanted success more than a family. And then he got the wake up call from his kids where it's just like, yo, you got to start looking at us like we're your children, not your coworkers.
It's definitely a hard situation with it because, everybody here and most people online, they look at the celebrity status as being some glamorous, perfect lifestyle.
And it's not.
But even, sometimes this, but like, there are situations like, listen to Howard Stern, like, he had Charlize on with the Zoom and we mentioned the old guard and she's talking about, Charlize is in her mid 40s, almost 50. And she's a mother now of 2 kids. And she even told Howard, she's like, not that she was complaining by any means, but she's like, after you film a movie, you're gone sometimes for 3 or 4 months at a time. Once you're done filming them, and then during those 3 or 4 months, you're not seeing your kids for sometimes 3 or 4 months. After you're done filming the movie, then you go on press junkets, then you go on tours, then you go on talk shows, venues. The whole time you're going on these, basically you're touring the country, you're not getting paid, but it's part of the promotion for the movie. But again, this sometimes is 3 or 4 or 5 more months that you're out promoting the movie. So for a lot of people, like, oh, they made this one film, and for that one film, you're basically not home for 7-8 months at a time. And as a father myself, I can't imagine. I did when I was in prison, but like not seeing my kid for sometimes 6-7 fucking months, that does take its toll on you. Then you start making more movies, bigger years go by. Next year, your fucking kid is 10. in the past decade, you've seen your kid 4 times. Like, that is part of the lifestyle. And she said that, this is why Charlize has actually been slowing down her movie roles and what she does in terms of film, because she's like, this happened to Andrew Lincoln with Walking Dead. We can bust his balls all day. The major reason he left Walking Dead for you is, guys, I'm a dad. My kids are getting older. I can't spend 6 months not seeing my kids anymore. I made shit tons of money. I'm done. They offered him so much money to keep him Walking Dead. He goes, the money's not, at this point in my life, the money's not worth it. He goes, I want to be a dad. This happened to, the famously Susan knows this, the possible return of freaking Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis was one of the top A-list fucking people in Hollywood. He quit Hollywood because his wife died of cancer. He goes, fuck all this money. I'm going home. I'm being a father. I'm not going to have nannies raise my kids. And he walked away from like hundreds of millions of fucking dollars. He didn't care. I mean, Rick Moranis hasn't been in a movie in like 25 years now or something. The money wasn't worth it for him. Some people, like I said with Will, but a lot of people, I said, everybody can, and anybody listening can say all day, well, I'll give up these freedoms for tens of millions of dollars. I'm like, yeah, but the old cliche is, though, is you can't put a price on time. It's like,
and family. And
if your kid, the past 15 years, if your kid's 15 years old and mostly nannies have raised your kid, that's, it's, so I said, it's not defending it, but like, some certain actors have it's a lot more hectic of a schedule than you may think it is. And this is why I like listen to interviews and bios and shit. So sometimes that money, me and Al have talked about this right now, as being people have our CDLs. I know right now, if I quit my job tomorrow and me and Al got together and use our CDLs in a different way, I can make triple the money I'm making right now. But if I did that, well, you'll probably see me twice a year,
Yeah.
So it's like, is me making triple the money worth the fact that I see my kid 1 day, 2 days out the month, and that's it? Because, and this is also for being blue collar, why I constantly fucking hate how much people dismiss the average worker and what truck drivers. People have no fucking clue. That's why even before talking to Al, and talking to Al, people seriously don't understand what CDLA and tractor trailer drivers, what they really go through and sacrifice for their fucking families. Even Mary, she didn't know her dad until her 20s. Her dad did not raise her because she's seen her dad like once every few months. And that's it. You're spending 16. People don't fucking get, like, I drive a bus, Al knows what's driving a fucking big rig is like. You try driving a fucking big rig for 16, 17, 18-hour fucking days. Do this shit all year long. It's all year long. It's a lot more complex than somebody sitting home playing video games is. Or somebody even go to Walmart every day or going to work at. People don't fucking get what a mental and physical strain, and as somebody who's driving, you try spending 16 hours driving a fucking truck, that shit kills your body, man. It does.
And not only on top of that, it fucks up your sleep schedule because you go to different time zones.
And people don't fucking get that if we don't have these people, then when you go to Walmart or Price Chopper or Hannaford, guess what? If these people don't exist, when you go buy your hamburger or anything you fucking buy, these things don't exist without these motherfuckers that are making 60, 70 fucking 80K a year. These people are fucking needed. Again, you assholes, who are on OnlyFans and fucking whatever, TikTok and shit too, the world will be fine without you. And I've had people argue with me in the past saying, well, what about like your automated fucking trucks? That shit is so far, maybe during our lifetimes, this will never outweigh. In fact, even in the next 10 years, by 2030, Al knows this too. The fucking need and demand for truck drivers is still at like an all-time fucking high. Because an automated truck isn't gonna unload itself.
Yeah. I mean but that's just the thing though, that what pisses me off about the whole situation where people sit there and say that the government is doing their best and stuff like that. It's like I just need to understand how do you think that they're making sense, or how they're looking out for us when you can't even give us a temporary payroll tax cut. Susan, how would you feel if, as of right now, the government takes like an average of $150 out of the federal government itself takes an average of $150 out of your check per week, right? How would you feel if they only took 70 out?
Yeah.
Even if it was just for a year, do you imagine like that's an extra $320 in your pocket a month? That's bills that other people don't have to worry about. Yep. You know what I mean? And it's temporary. It wouldn't even be something that would be a chance for people to catch up, to live their lives normally, to if they get back to work and they don't have to put 85% of every single one of their checks for 6 months in the bills because you give them that tax cut. It's amazing to me. It's like, it's just like, it's amazing how they don't really look out for people, you know, and it's just like, and the government feels the same exact way, like how we were talking about before about building neighborhoods. Every single politician that's in these offices right now feel the same exact way of how people separate themselves rather than come together. But that's politicians. That's every single politician who presides over us and gives us these laws that's in these countries that don't do anything for the working people. We, the working people, are coming together. We, the working people, are the majority that won't speak on a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? There's 98% of us go to work, take care of house and home. You know, we look on Facebook, we might, you know, disagree with somebody, you know, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, though, it ain't going to be, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to go out of our way. And it's not going to be crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then you got 2%. You got the 2% of us that are offended by every little fucking thing on social media and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That distracts us from what's really going on. But when you got these billionaires that protect their money that is all overseas, they send their businesses overseas and then they bring their business back into the United States, but they don't get increased tariffs. You know? Yeah. So their money that's in the United States, they can write off, you know, because of their little donations to charity, because most of their money is overseas. But you're not going to charge extra tariffs to bring stuff from overseas into the United States where it's going to sell. You know what I mean? And it's just like, but then we're going to sit here making $40,000, $50,000 a year, owing $2,000 in taxes at the end of the year. Like, how? You know what I mean? Like, rich people, it's like, that's why I said a couple of episodes ago, I said, get rid of tax write-offs. If you get rid of tax write-offs for a year and you gave us a payroll tax cut, you put some bandages in places of the broken skin of this economy. Because, and again, you know, to charities that need these donations and stuff like that, you can go through the federal government to get that rather than relying on rich people to just decide to say, hey, I'm giving this to you so I can get a receipt to get a tax write-off. You know what I'm saying? You can go straight to the federal government and say, hey, this is what I need the money for. This is what I'm doing. This is what, you know, this is the programs that I'm investing this money into. You know what I mean?
You know, what's even fucked up too is, because where me and Susan worked at Goodwill. Yeah. A couple years back, they even, like, you know, some person would come in, hey, I'm donating 5 t-shirts for X amount of dollars. I'm donating a couple of jeans. They eventually, and Sue knows this, we had a point where I forgot what year it was. Remember, they would say, some people came in and said, you know what, then I don't want a receipt anymore. Why not? They said, the government actually put a cap on, like, if you do not donate a certain amount, then you got nothing back. So it's like, say, for instance, like, you know, if you weren't donating at least, like, say, whatever, I forgot the number is, but like, say, $10,000 a year. If you're donating, like, say, $9,000 a year, you wouldn't get any tax breaks. So some people are like, damn, I'm all donating like $5,000 worth of stuff. It's not worth the receipts.
That,
so,
on top of two, they had to prove exactly what it was that
they
were donating.
But it's the point that they made these average, these are average people coming to our Goodwill, average everyday fucking people that even sometimes caught a bus, couldn't afford a car, just average Joe Blow working people. And like, you're making it even that much harder for the average person to get a little bit of fucking help back. But then every single year you keep reading about more corporations getting more tax breaks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's fucked up. And it's just like, so explain to me how the government cares about its people. Because it's just like, because again, these politicians don't give a fuck how long we stay closed for. These politicians don't give a fuck because they're going to get a check regardless.
But you look at celebrities. There's been certain, especially right now, this is why part of struggling us to make a podcast is how many, the past month alone, new podcasts are being started, more YouTube channels are being started by actors, by musicians, by athletes that are just like, oh, I'm bored, but I need some extra income. It's like, do you really need the income from your YouTube channel or podcast channel? Because, you know, well, I've been filming a movie in like X amount of months. I'm like, I know, but you're still worth $50 million or something. Or just like but well, I'm bored. I'm like, you can be bored and also do it for free.
Well, did you know that Robert De Niro said that, oh, I feel like I'm going broke, but I'm making $7.62 million a year? So how are you going broke and you're making $7.62 million a year? Are you?
It's all. I'm sure there's just so many articles about them doing it, but
it's just like you sit in a late night talk show saying that you're going broke, but this is the money that you're making per year. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you can give me that if you feel like that's not enough money, you can slide some of that in my direction. I will gladly take 10%.
I'm pretty sure all 5 of us could live off of $1.52 million for the rest of our lives, I could.
Yeah.
I could easily make that last because
Not only would I make that last, I'd turn it into
disgusting.
more money.
Yeah.
yeah, I would aim to make more money from it too.
But it's like
CD accounts, stock market.
I mentioned like what I was saying the first hour was 100% true. This is just people sitting there, you'll scoff at, if you're worth X amount of dollars, well, I'm not going to give this fucking bum $10 so he can feed himself. I'm like, okay. But you'll just, again, you'll sit there, you'll spend $1,000 on a meal, eat half of that meal, and throw it away.
I won't give that man $10 for food. I buy him food just so he won't use it for alcohol.
Well, see me.
I guess. Just like the amount of things that we've seen celebrities, what they blow their fucking money on is things that none of us can even comprehend. That's just what I said, but it's like, and like Al said, and this has been so many times I've seen celebrities. I'm bored, or like I have too much money, I can't spend it all. You could give some of it, give some of it, give some away. You could always do it. Oh well, I earned it. I'm like, then don't bitch that you're fucking bored, or just like I don't know what to do with my money. Like, give it away. Help somebody change their life. Help starving children, cure cancer, whatever the fuck you want to do. Like, God forbid you fixed up a neighborhood or something, but then these people die and their estate is worth like X amount of money, and just like
all that money goes straight back to the government because they don't have a will or anything like that. Like the government takes all of that money. And it's just like, where does that money go? It doesn't get dispersed, doesn't go anywhere.
But the way things are going, this is 2020. Watch 2025. Guarantee next 5 years we'll see even more billionaires.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we lead the world. We lead the world in things that don't matter. I mean, we lead the world in crime. We lead the world in in people arrested. We lead the world in billionaires. We lead the world in people that think angels are real. Like
you said, all the shit that doesn't matter.
Everything that doesn't matter. We lead the world in.
More people in jail than anybody else on the planet. We got more homeless people. We got more fucking fanatics that believe in religion.
We got the Black Death, too. Let's not forget that. We've got the Black Death.
We're still considered the quote-unquote richest country on the planet, and yet, again, look at our homeless rate.
And we have we're in the most debt of any other country in the world.
Beautiful.
And they say that we're a superpower only because of the fact that we're first in military spending, where we spend more than 30 countries combined. 25 of them are allies.
That was just on the news the other day. They talked about our spending.
Yeah,
and this was a BBC. This wasn't even an American fucking news thing. This was European newscast.
Yeah.
Send some of that military to Portland and Chicago.
But yeah, I was looking because what I was saying earlier.
It's mostly toys. It's not actually soldiers because I've heard
worthless. Then.
No. But what I've heard is that they're actually not even paying soldiers like as much as they nearly should be. What most of that military spending is like unmanned drones and toys, $1 billion toys that they're not even using.
What is this, South Park, where they're just looking in windows, women's windows, like, oh look at this ass, Joe. Oh my God, better than my wife's. Let me tell you.
So,
that's kind of silly.
I was wondering what the hell I'm picking up in the...
It's people fighting outside, it sounds like.
Want to go outside and cheer them on.
Yes, get some water balloons.
Let's see. So I was saying earlier, I was actually looking up a lot of stats about prisons and shit. This is actually funny, 2020. What state has the highest incarceration rate of 2020?
Arizona.
No.
Illinois.
The top 10 states. Louisiana.
Okay.
Oklahoma, Mississippi, Arizona, Arkansas, Alabama, Texas, and Missouri.
Illinois is not in top 10. That's shocking.
Hey,
right, this says
Arizona.
What state you think has the lowest amount of people in prison? Massachusetts.
Well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
That's like one giant highway.
Yeah, but it does say what state has the most overcrowded prisons? Alabama.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So, Alabamers.
I went to Alabama with a banjo on my knee.
But I was mentioning this is crazy with privatization of prisons, federal inmates. I mean, it's the prison system.
That's a whole money game too.
It's all capitalism.
That's all money game
based on making money.
Yeah,
that's the crazy shit. Like if we did things for the betterment of our society collectively, let's get the people in the country better. at the same pace as opposed to.
How much money do private prisons make? They're earning thousands per inmate.
Yep.
So, while spending $275 on the food.
This is why that's why they do that. It's why they put people in prison, because they want to have the maximum amount of people they want, but they want to spend the minimum amount of money. So they feed them fucking something that's close to spoiled dog food. Like it's like the cheapest food.
I know, trust me.
Two weeks past fucking being good, and it costs them like a penny per fucking container. And then they go out and buy fucking 100 of these containers and feed the fucking inmates because they want to pocket the rest of the money. It's hard for profit.
Updating this shit, but it's just saying that in 2012, a contract between Arizona Department of Corrections, and MTC, another private corrections company, guaranteed a rate of nearly $18,000 per prisoner per year, according to Think Progress. Wow. What's more, many private prisons have guaranteed occupancy clauses in their contracts, ranging from 90 to 100%, meaning that if their cells aren't filled, the states must pay anyway, which smells a lot like an incentive to imprison people who maybe don't need to be imprisoned, ? Private prisons currently house approximately 22,000 federal inmates, and the Bureau of Prisons paid $639 million to private prisons in 2014, averaging about $22,000 a person.
This is kind of why I stopped traveling throughout the United States.
For perspective, that's about the same amount it would cost to send 3 people to a state college. Now, I'm not saying that low-level drug offenders should be sent to college instead of prison, but I'm not saying that either. Just crunching some numbers.
The thing about it is when you think about low-level drug offenders, understand that depending on your skin color and your social economical background, those are going to be 2 very different outcomes. If you're black and from the hood and you're a first-time low-level drug offender, you're probably going to end up with a shitload of fucking time. But if you're from an affluent neighborhood and you're white, then you're probably going to just get a slap on the wrist and sent home.
Probation and...
This question is asked, which president started private prisons? It says, due to President Reagan's war on drugs policy, the public prison system was overwhelmed with inmates. To lessen the burden on state prisons, which were overcrowded, private prisons were created. In 1983, the Corrections Corporation of America, the CCA, stepped onto the scene as the very first private corrections company. Wow.
I'm about to go outside and ask these people to shut the fuck up. For real.
This is question. What percentage of prisons are privatized? Private prisons in the U.S. incarcerated 120,000 people in 2017, representing 8% of the total state and federal population. Since 2000, the number of people housed in private prisons has increased by 40%. Wow.
That's why I barely leave my house. People call me paranoid. Like, nope.
Yeah, they're looking for an excuse to lock you up.
No, I just don't trust anything anymore.
It's
for
crazy.
The most part.
The states that have the highest share of inmates to private prisons were Montana and Hawaii. Wow.
Well, Hawaii could use the money. It's like an entire tourist trap.
That's their whole. That's their whole money.
What they'll say,
all of their money comes from tourism.
Yeah.
That's it.
Who pays for private prisons? A private prison, on the other hand, is run by a corporation. That corporation's end goal is to profit from anything they deal in. In order to make money as a private prison, they receive a stipend from the government. This money from the government can be paid in a multitude of different ways.
And whenever government's offering a stipend to do anything, people are going to do it because government money is almost guaranteed money.
That's why Nike is going to start opening prisons, and prisoners are going to be putting their shoes together. You think I'm joking?
I'm not
joking.
Give
that time.
I'm just scuffing. I'm just scuffing because it's crazy. Like,
sure, okay.
I'm not thinking you're joking.
Detroit will have prisoners put cars together so they can get that industry back on track. Here's a question.
Are private prisons better or worse than public prisons?
Worse.
Research, of course. Research has concluded that for-profit prisons cost more than public prisons. Furthermore, cost estimates from private prisons may be misleading because private facilities often refuse to accept inmates that cost the most to house.
Like people who may have medical needs.
They've even proven, too, that according to stats that in private prisons also have, like I would say, different funding, different crime rates, and in terms of inmates, different COs, and So it's
when you'd rather go to Detroit, Michigan. Well, I mean, due to a lot of businesses are leaving Seattle because of the whole Antifa thing, and a lot of businesses have like literally packed up and left Seattle, even though they've been begging them to stay, literally begging businesses to stay, and they've just been packing up and leaving. And speaking about Detroit, Michigan, there's actually a bunch of businesses that's starting back up in Detroit because the crime rate is significantly lower than what it used to be. Because Detroit, as we all know, Detroit, Michigan used to be crazy bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's still bad, but it's nowhere near the levels of, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's nowhere near the levels of New York and Chicago right now. Like, New York and Chicago is just out of control. Like, holy crap. Like, it's crazy. And it's by the day. It's getting worse. It's not even, it's the statistics are scary. And it's just like, you think to yourself, I got more of a chance of catching a stray bullet walking outside of this house than I do to get harassed by a police officer. Like,
well, Chicago, I don't know.
It's crazy.
Albany, but yeah.
I mean, well, think about what happened in Albany. Think about what happened in Albany in a 30-day stretch.
It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, in a 30-day stretch, there was like, Albany gun violence in 2020. That's not accurate because what they actually posted on the news channel was not what happened in the totality of 2020. That was over the span of 30 days.
Yeah.
Over the span of 30 days, there was 55 shootings, 75 victims, and 11 homicides in 30 days.
Last thing we read about prisons before I close this out was federal. Because mentioned the Federal Bureau. It says since 2000, its use increased by 77%. It says this is from 2017, which includes prisons, halfway houses, and home confinement, total of 30,000 people.
Yeah,
but
we
just from 2000 to 2017, the federal increased private prisons by 77%.
Yeah.
Think about that fucking number for a
let's
second.
think of that. We get money to keep people in here. Should we release them?
Who owns for-profit prisons? Companies such as the Corrections Corporation of America. It says, in the past 2 decades, CCA has seen its profits increase by more than 500%.
Of course it has.
I mean, 500. I can't.
But what are they trying to correct? That's my question. What are they trying to correct? Because 5-1, profits have increased, but so has the number of people they've been associated with arresting and storing.
Yeah. So I found a junior CU that actually Target in 2019, Target raised their minimum wage to $13 an hour. They're trying for 2020 to cap it out at $15 an hour.
Yep.
So
I hope they realize that this also means that they're going to be firing more people so that they can make up the money from constantly raising it. I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, you're wrong. Look at the fast food system, how some places have automated ordering machines, but you only see a couple of people working at that location.
You have
that's like my job.
You're right in what's happening, but you're wrong in the reasoning. The reason that automated machines are putting in, they're not putting them machines in so that they could afford to lose people. They're putting those machines in to replace people.
Oh yeah.
Well, ultimately their goal is completely automated restaurants. That's what they want. They want a restaurant where you could walk in there, put your order in, and soon there are going to be machines in the back that makes a burger, slides it down a conveyor belt, fucking out to you, you scan, you pay, you're gone. That's the ultimate goal. That's the goal with almost every company, every industry in America right now. I guarantee you, I promise you, in another 4 decades, human beings are going to be unemployable. It's happened before to other animals that we relied on.
It's going to be terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because,
that's why
it's going to be like a Judge Dredd situation where they're going to be an apartment complex like 200 stories tall, and each one is going to have a crime family in it.
And understand that the only way you're going to be able to make money is to own a part of an industry somewhere. You're going to have to buy in terms of stocks, or buy in terms of owning the company, or buy in terms of being able to manufacture components that companies need to continue running.
Or repair them.
Does that mean robots are going to start playing football, playing baseball?
Most likely.
It's going to happen. I promise you it'll happen.
Wait, is this going to be like Heavy Metal 2000?
I'm going to tell you right now. Right now, they're building robots that basically move and act like animals and humans right now. The military is working on it.
He's not wrong.
Everything that happens in the military eventually makes its way over to private sector.
Yep.
The minute the military perfects it so they could use it in terms of warfare, eventually somebody in the military is going to hand it over to somebody in the private sector who's going to make billions when they transition these robots into everyday functionality.
Commercial grade.
Yeah.
You know what's
exactly. It's the same thing that happens with almost everything that we are using now. The radio was created for the military. the phones we use now created for the military. Like the concept of vehicles was first military. Like it all trickles back into the private sector, and then people in the private sector become insanely rich from it.
I mean, sorry.
But it's gonna happen. Like,
why does it remind me of an Iron Man movie? Everything he's saying.
I use this reference and always I explain it like this. Think about horses. Understand that at one point, and not just in our country, globally, a horse was an animal that you needed to function daily, day to day. They pulled your carriages, they plowed your fields, you used them for almost everything. Today, a horse is unemployable. You see a couple of them at a police station here and there, but you don't see people herding packs of horses like they used to, because you can't do anything. You can't do anything with horses. Not even they don't even use them to that extent anymore. They use they have a certain amount of them that they need, and they have that amount, and they take very good care of them until they die, and then they replace them.
I read an article.
There was a point in time where people would have herds of horses that sold well. Now you can't employ a horse. That's going to be us in another 4 or 5 decades.
Maybe I can look it up. But
I mean, that's why like there's tracks and stuff, and that's why people go and they bet and stuff.
Well, I forgot where I read this. It was an article on Price Chopper.
There's going to be humans in the future. They're going to be human races.
I happened to see like
no
it was a random news article, but they were talking about like horses with almost what I was saying, but like what would be the the industry of like horse meat. Like they mentioned, like how like they're a big animal. There's a lot of them. They're useless, and like
I mean, think of how many people eat blue. So technically, there are people out there that are eating horse.
Yeah, understand it though. A lot of parts of the world, horse is like a delicacy. It's only us here that have decided that certain animals won't get eaten. Like we'll eat the asshole off a pig, but it's beyond somebody to eat a cat. Like which makes no sense to me.
True.
Hey Susan. Hey, so considering the fact that we're going to be unemployable, eventually you're going to have to make an OnlyFans because that's the only way you're going to be able to get employed.
Listen, women will never be out of work.
Never. No. Let me tell you something.
Hold on.
Sex sells. Bottom line, sex sells. Dudes are fucking weird.
Prostitution is the oldest profession.
No. Seriously. No, seriously. Listen to this. I told you guys before that there's this girl. She's 22 years old. She owns a $500,000 house strictly through OnlyFans.
I believe it.
Strictly through OnlyFans throughout this whole COVID-19 lockdown. She has made millions of dollars selling feet pics.
Yeah, we talked about.
Dudes are weird. Let me tell you something right now. All right, that's why I'm telling Susan. I'm like, Susan, hey, eventually you're gonna have to make an OnlyFans. Like, if you're really trying to make it. Listen, I'll even do you one justice. All right, I'll do you one justice with this. I will volunteer. I will volunteer to be your picture guy, to video record anything.
That's not weird.
I just want some royalties from it.
No,
you give me 10%.
Elliot already said he'd be the one to do
exactly.
that.
Don't
no,
step
but that's
on
for
my
cookies.
shit.
That's for cookies.
Yes.
Elliot's territory.
That's for cookies.
Listen,
I'm
buddy.
talking about for other shit.
No.
You're talking about for cookies.
Elliot wants to make freaking videos of me eating cookies. Junior
Yes.
wants to take weird ass fucking pictures of
Because
me. Al wants to put a fucking baby in me.
No.
Listen, you're the only female here.
My desires.
Yes.
Okay.
Just offer Al a pizza, okay?
Okay, but with Molly, I mean, here's the thing with Molly. I already told her, I was like, listen, the moment that you do OnlyFans, you're going to be rich real quick. So I'm going to be the perfect photographer. Like, I swear to God, I'm going to hit all the angles. I will fall into a bush of thorns and go into that perfect angle and take that picture. Like, I will
die to make sure he.
I will make sure, even if I dive into a bush and make sure that I hit that perfect angle underneath all those bushes as I'm taking a picture with you standing there eating a corn dog.
Don't do video. Just don't do video then, because in the background you hear a guy screaming like, "Oh!"
Yeah, that'll be me.
Get him out! Get him out!
It's like, you don't understand though. It's like
I'm stealing my idea.
I'm telling you.
Like,
no.
Molly's gonna be eating food now, you motherfucker.
Okay.
My idea first.
First of all, I started talking about OnlyFans way before you did. Yeah. So let's already talk about that.
Yeah, I did the food one first.
Yeah. I started talking about people doing OnlyFans way before you started talking to Susan about doing OnlyFans. OnlyFans, I mean, it's like I said, I was talking to this girl right now about the fact that I'm going to her house in the next 3 days to take pictures for her OnlyFans. I'm trying to get some money. money. You know what I'm saying? So hey, why not get a 10%? Why not get 10%
Pay for the
royalties?
podcast.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Get 10% royalties to take some pictures. I don't give a.
so
I'm hitting
poor.
all
Are you
angles. What? I was like, I'm not fucking weird. It's like girls naked in front of me. I'm not gonna fucking leap on her like a leopard. I'm just gonna fucking take pictures. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting money to not be. You know what I'm saying? To take pictures.
Take me, I'm basically gay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
I mean,
No, seriously.
I got some poems I can create. Don't
No,
worry.
seriously.
She was like, no straight man wrote this shit. I'm like, see, like,
So
What's
he's
the girl's name? This way Chris can already start.
no.
Exactly.
See, no. See, I've been trying to get Chris on doing shit like this, but he doesn't want to do it because he already looks at me
I'll
weird
do it.
when I talk about shit like this. I offered him an opportunity before.
You did?
Yeah, I did. You forget shit.
Yeah, Susan, I do. Like,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I offered him an opportunity to do shit like this. He was like, oh, I can never do that because that's disrespectful to a girl. So you'll date a stripper, but you're not going to take a picture for OnlyFans? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
when? I don't
Chris,
know.
when's Jamie's birthday?
Oh shit. God damn it.
See,
Give me an April.
I rest my
April
case.
what?
11.
5.
There we go.
Yeah, there.
When's Jen's?
Just passed too. Fuck. Oh, hold on. July 19.
When's Kaya's?
Anyway, let's move on.
When's your mom's?
Let's move on.
So, no.
When's Christian's?
May 20 ish.
See?
Wait, when is this?
When's mine?
He's only 13. I have time to prep
Wait,
for this
you're
shit.
May
Like,
20th?
huh? My son's in May 20
No,
something.
he's May 20 something.
You're around.
And I'm not gonna say what it is, even though I know what it
This
is.
year's Halloween. Okay.
He's
Wait,
being an
when's
asshole by saying
Junior's?
that. He's being an asshole by saying that, by the way. 'cause
I
he
really
said your
don't know.
birthday was Halloween.
none of you
it's
know
around
I know he
mine.
was being an
Wait,
asshole.
no,
know.
what's Christian's? Because we might share it.
May 26th.
There you go.
Nope. Off by some
If you don't know
days.
Christians, you definitely don't know Wyatt, so I'm not even gonna
no.
ask.
Yeah.
I know mine. That's what the one I care about.
When's your birthday, Chris?
Next week. I'm taking a day off work too.
When
So
was Nan's?
don't ask me that. It was in August.
Grandpa's.
It was 2 days before August 3rd. 'Cause it was 2 days before mine.
Your dad's.
Dad's was May 8th. Certain ones I can remember.
Good God. I believe Carlton's is May
Oh, fucking hell.
I rest my case with this and
No,
how
March
forgetful he is, by the way.
I remember Mark's because it's so comical.
Josh.
Well, I mean, Mark is just a
June
comical
30th.
person. I mean, the man cat is just a comical
Yeah.
person.
Well, I
Wait,
almost
did he say if
The
he knew
man
yours or
cat.
not?
No, he doesn't remember my birthday. It's
was
okay.
Junior, but like, because Al didn't know this, we talked about earlier about evolution and people adapting.
It's
so like,
devolving.
well, like, but Mark, for
Oh,
example, because
yeah.
if you put Mark in like say Mexico or Egypt, he'd be dead within a week.
Yes, he would because
His body
that-
won't adapt.
he'll have skin cancer in 72 hours because he's allergic to the sun. He's like a vampire.
Man cat.
I was
No,
saying like
no.
it would take multiple generations, but his DNA is not going to
See,
evolve.
He has to arrive. He has to arrive in a way where there's no penetration of the sunlight.
People kind of get that fact about cats in Egypt mixed up. They're worshipped, but they're also thrown in fires.
He has to arrive in a coffin.
Like I mean, I heard
That
stories about
bad.
Irish people.
They're
Like,
They
thrown
throw 'em in a
in
fire?
alive
yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
to
just saying,
get
but, like,
rid of bad spirits.
I'd watch this
I mean,
person.
shit, let's send Mark to Egypt. I
But,
mean,
but
it wouldn't
I'd
be
watch
that
this
bad.
person. We'd watch him spend 2-3 hours in the sun, and like he'd be sun blistered for fucking 4 days. I'm like, that's not natural for
Exactly.
for the human race. Like,
It's like putting garlic to a vampire. Like he's allergic to the sun. You don't. When he turns red, he literally looks like the crab from SpongeBob. It's
So
just
you-
it's just he's not muscular
his
at
skin
all.
is redder than Junior's shirt, and I'm not joking.
No,
Like,
seriously, it is. It's redder than my shirt. Like it's fucking unnatural.
that is not Darwinism.
No, that's not. He definitely cannot adapt. The only place where he can adapt is fucking Alaska. That'd be like the only place where he could survive.
If we were out in the wilderness, he would be one of those people that would not breed because the women would not choose him. Like, no, I need a superior offspring. You. will
His
not
back would be
procreate.
out. He'd be like a mile behind us on a stretcher.
Junior, the target villains would turn to lesbians.
Yeah, exactly.
If he was the last man on Earth,
Oh, well, fuck.
Yeah, well, I mean,
the human species would just
go extinct.
Oh, yeah.
It'd go
That's
extinct.
probably for the best.
Because, I mean, offsprings of him, holy
yes,
fuck.
man, cat
So
hybrid.
sometimes,
He said man cat hybrid.
sometimes nature makes a mistake. Like,
He's nature's cruelest mistake. It's like, Jesus Christ.
actually, to what Alice saying earlier, 'cause we talked about we jumped for so many topics. That whole like It's because they call it, well, with the trans issue, they call it gender dysmorphia. But with race issues, like there was this one Asian guy, it was notorious. I read this whole article where he spent over $120,000 to bleach his skin white, and he felt like he was the Asian Superman, but he wanted to look like Superman, so he made his hair jet black. He had blue. He tried to get in like permanent blue contacts, and he was constantly bleaching his skin white, but he had plastic surgery to match looking like Superman, because Superman's obviously not Asian. I seen this one girl, she wanted to be like Jessica Rabbit. Now, Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a cartoon character. She's not realistic. Her waist is not physically possible. She literally had some of her ribs removed so she can get a smaller waistline to be just like Jessica Rabbit. And I'm like, she's removing her ribs.
Made herself look like a Barbie doll.
Yeah, I was reading that article. The Ken doll and the Barbie doll.
Yeah,
and they don't like each other.
Body dysmorphia.
But no, but so the way I was saying it on earlier, but like, you know, I truly believe that like there's all kinds of different like mental things where like, yeah, who like some people have had their nipples removed because Barbie and Ken don't have nipples, and it's like, and whoa, what? Like,
well, I mean, so to be like Man Cat.
Actually, there is. Remember that one guy in Ripley's, but that guy who turned into a cat? He had the surgical whiskers. He had the fucking implants. Yeah, remember? So there is a Man Cat out there.
There is a Man Cat out there, but this is a different form of a Man Cat. Like this is a you call a house cat that eats peanut butter and jelly out of a bowl.
Because it can't afford
There's
bread.
people that have a sickness that they would want to amputate a limb.
Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah,
it's weird, and some people actually do it. Like they'd have an issue with a leg or like an arm or a finger or something, and they'd spend their entire life feeling uncomfortable with their body part and want it amputated. And some people actually go through with it.
So if you feel uncomfortable with eating kidney beans out of the can, you know, because I can't imagine the Man Cat is comfortable with his lifestyle. So when you eat, you know, kidney beans out of a can and then you put ketchup on it for flavor, I don't think
so
you're
basically you're saying if I felt uncomfortable with one of my boobs, I could literally
it's
have
actually
it chopped off.
all right. The term is
I'm not letting you do that, Susan.
That is.
What, Susan? Why did you look at me like that?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
See?
You literally looked at me first.
I looked at you because I was gonna see how you responded,
My God.
but then you gave me that look like, why the fuck did he say that?
wow. I'm not sure if I can say this, but it's a menophilia, a neurological disorder, but it's a disorder that blurs the distinction between neurologically and psychiatry. It's characterized by the intense and long-standing desire for amputation of a specific limb.
Yeah.
Here we present evidence from two individuals suggestive that this condition, long thought to be entirely psychological in origin, although it has a neurological basis. Wow. But it's a long article.
And that shit is wild. Like when I heard about that, I was like, this is insane. Like there are people out there who were born and who grew up and who one day look at one of their limbs and be like, I'm getting rid of you, you motherfucker.
Bill, you know, I don't like my shin. I need you to take the whole bottom half of my right leg.
There's
for real, like that's insane.
Like I would
What
say,
if you
like
didn't like your shin, but you
like
liked your calf?
people. I've met people who, whether it's
weird.
depression or like anxiety,
But
but
you know,
people.
like,
I'm not into cutting.
think
Like
about
I just don't get people like.
Or, like, what
when
if
I
you
was in
like
high school,
the
actually, one of my
forearm,
girlfriends,
but the other part
my
you
first
hate?
girlfriend, she showed me like she was like, you know, fucking 15, but she had like a razor and she
Or,
was
like,
like
your forearm
carving
and
her
your
previous
bicep.
boyfriend's name into her ankle, and I'm like
Like-
I'm not really comfortable with
See,
this.
that's
You know,
crazy.
it's like,
Why
but
would
like,
you do someone's name?
But there's some people who like the whole cutting thing where it's like, how do like it? Ow, you know, it's like
Because some people can stand physical pain far more than mental.
Yeah.
I'm a cutter. Well, used to be a cutter. I have over 200
Like I would say,
scars
but it's just
for
I don't.
fun.
But they said there's just so many things that like from any kind of there's no animal like you don't see a cat taking its claws and digging it to its fucking shoulder every damn day. You know, it's like the things that human beings, all these different conditions we have, like we are, and I've heard this through Rogan and other people that you've noticed that, and any species across this fucking planet, we're the only ones that actually fucking commit suicide.
That's a fact. And you know what's weird is I said, like, I had this conversation the other day where it's like a lot of things that we do as humans is just unnatural. Like we don't operate in the basic tenets of laws of nature.
Yeah.
Like we don't. Like we do stuff that, like we raise children that cannot function in society to adulthood and spend our entire lives taking care of that child.
Yeah.
Like the people who give birth to a child, like no animal on this planet does that. If any animal that rears its young If that child is born deformed in any way, mentally handicapped in any way, or unable to take care of itself, they will either kill it or abandon it to die.
You're right.
We are the only species that will give birth to a child and it can't function. There's something either wrong with it mentally or physically. It can't function on its own on any level. And I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying, considering the fact that we're the only ones that do it, why? Because a lot of people I know would just rather not burden themselves for the rest of their lives if they could avoid it.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy doing it. I've seen people fall apart to the point of wanting to commit suicide because they have a child that they know they can't do anything to help this child. So this child is basically living in a situation where they're suffering for the rest of their life. And now you as a parent also have to suffer because you can't do anything to, one, alleviate that child, or two, to alleviate your own burden.
Yeah.
So it's a wild situation to be in.
That's been a very deep psychological or moral question.
Wild. It's a wild.
That's a moral question. Like, and anybody here, I think, I know all of you guys were on a similar mindset where, like, if I got to go pregnant and say, hey, Chris, we've done these different studies, these tests and stuff and whatever, your kid's going to be born without legs, and this is whatever. She's like 10, 12 weeks fucking pregnant. And like, do you want to terminate the child? And now I'm posed with a question where me and her have to think to ourselves, do we want to have a kid that's born with no legs, or do we terminate early and save ourselves and our potential child a life of being born with no fucking legs? Or it could be anything. It could be like your kid, whatever, is born fucking brain damage. Your kid is born with, there's a million different things your kid could be born with. And some people will say, well, morally and by God, I have to raise this child. And I'm like, well,
that's the problem you'll run into, is that they'll make a bunch of different issues and they will take away from your main concern. Like, they'll make a moral argument of, well, should you have the right to kill this child just because you don't want the burden or whatever? And that's a moral discussion. I'm saying, is it fair to this child? For me, like, a missing limb is not that big a deal. Like, if my kid was going to be born without legs or without arms, or I could deal with that, and I could raise that kid to deal with it as well. Yeah. If my kid is born with a brain defect that is going to 100% assure that this child cannot function in society, and I can't do anything to make the child better. So he's literally just a living vegetable that you are now burdened with taking care of. I mean, bathing, feeding, wiping, cleaning, dressing daily, with the added benefits of the normal stuff that you got to deal with kids in terms of always buying food, always buying clothes, knowing that this person is going to constantly, then all the special needs that they're going to have because they can't physically move on their own. You've got all the equipment you have to buy. That's a different type of struggle. Yeah,
people who aren't long-term parents don't understand. Like, I have a 13-year-old, and like something simple as, hey, Christian, okay, we're doing laundry. He knows at this point, like, where the socks go, where the underwear goes, where the t-shirts go, but he's still evolving and learning because he's 13. Yeah. But what if, though,
he couldn't do that?
What if he was 13 but still had the brain of a 4-year-old?
Or worse off, he was 13 with the brain of a 1-year-old and not ever going to change from that. Yeah. Constantly just unable to communicate, unable to understand, interpret, to interact, just a constant burden.
All these,
why would you?
I still think,
and people make the moral argument, and I'm always like, let's take the morality out of it. Why would you do this to this person and to the person that has to raise it? Yeah. Like, why is that something that you think is...
And even someone's too, and this becomes even like, let's branch out further, where it's like, if somebody has a living will and it's, listen, I'm dying of like stage 4 leukemia, and like once I hit a point where like, listen, give me a DNR, do not resuscitate me. That you have to honor your mother, father, your husband, your kid's wishes, where it's like, do you want to keep resuscitating this person and prolong their suffering, or do you want to just let them go in their pain? Some people, it does become a point of like, if my son is diagnosed with some horrible disease, when does it become more about you versus your kid? Like, why would I want to keep watching my son every second of his fucking existence, every breath he takes, in constant goddamn agony?
That's true.
Well, here's the thing, see. This is going to be asshole comment number 3 for me. Ready for this? So, how come the man cat didn't get abandoned? Because we all know that he's a product of incest. Well, we know he's a product of incest because look at him. I mean, it's just like he has scrawny. All of his body is scrawny, besides the one part of his body, which is his belly.
I mean, all joking aside, though, this has been, honestly, for even myself, a question over the past 10, 20 fucking years that, like, look at our current society versus, like we joke, but, like, I was saying, almost like from an animal standpoint, look at, say, the movie 300. You open up the movie 300, and what they were doing, the opening scene was
slaughtering kids.
They were showing fucking kids holding the baby, and like, and the first thing he says
anything
was,
anything that's not perfectly formed is cast away.
And they had a entire, like, and they showed down from the cliff right there, an entire graveyard of all fucking babies that were just discarded because they weren't born, quote unquote, perfect. And I mean, it could be fucked up or not fucked up, but also back in them days, we didn't have, like, you know, the medical technology we have nowadays. Like, technology is prolonging us, but it's also making us as a species a lot fucking weaker in terms of, like, you know, advancements. Because these people, even myself, like, you know, I was at 16, had my appendix removed, you know. Had I been born even 50 years earlier, I'd be fucking dead right now. That's the reality of it. Like,
but that's the beauty of medical science. It's a gift and a curse because, like you said, 100 years ago, a hangnail will kill you. Like, today, it's not even, it's just a minor nuisance.
But it's also been my problem.
Gonorrhea, you're itching for a long time, my friend.
But even also with technology is also making us better in some ways, but then also making us weaker and more lazy. Like, I would say, you know, it's if you, all things said, it's like back in the day, you actually have to get up and like, go actually order food. Now it's like McDonald's, I'm going to call Uber Eats. Just like bring it to me.
No, you don't even have to call them. Just get that app, click some buttons, and boom.
See the thing with Mancat, because I'm going to keep going back to Mancat.
Obsession with the Mancat.
So here's the thing, right? His back gives out when he takes about like 13 steps. So he needs the applications on his phone to be able to have food delivered to his house. Because anything outside of that AC, he becomes.
Have to make sure it's something he's able to lift.
He becomes an overstuffed lobster outside in the sun.
But wait, how can he order food if he doesn't even have enough money for a loaf of bread?
Or Mark.
Wait.
I wish I could get out. Mark could talk to Al.
Wait, hold on. The day that Chris told me that he was eating peanut butter and jelly out of a bowl.
Yeah, because he couldn't afford bread. Yeah.
I'm like, a loaf of bread is like, I looked it up. I went into fucking the Price Chopper today with Mom, and I was like, a loaf of bread is $1.49. A Price Chopper loaf of bread is $1.49. You mean to tell me that you had at that moment could only eat PB&J out of a bowl? Like you literally scooped peanut butter and put it in a bowl.
Well,
and
how far is the Walmart out there from his house?
Well, he was saying though he had no money. Like the one day he texted me, he's like, "Hey, what's up?" He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "I haven't eaten all day." He goes, "What I did was I looked through my drawer at work." He goes, "I found 35 cents." He goes, "I went to the vending machine." He goes, "I got like a fucking oatmeal cream pie." He's like, "I ate that shit like a starving animal." That was my breakfast and lunch, an oatmeal cream pie, and I'm like,
fucking great.
You're a state worker.
The thing that kills me.
What does he do with his money though?
I'm telling you,
there's been times where I've been without money. Like I know what it's like to be without money, but not on a constant basis. Like it'll happen where you got all these bills pile up on you at the same time, and then you'll have like a friend or a family member like, "Yo, can you help me out?" And you'll be in a situation where
you got $5 to your name for 6 days,
and now I got $5 until payday. Like that, it's happened to me before.
Yeah.
So, but to be like, I gotta eat sardine. What is it? Kidney beans
out of a can,
or PB&J out of a bowl.
Ketchup for flavor.
One day he texts me. He's like, "Man, I took a can of kidney beans." He goes, "I had to use the fuck can opener from the break lunchroom." And he goes, "I took packets of salt and put into the can for flavor." Well, it's like when Carlton was here. Carlton confirmed it one day. We were just like, "This, man, it's been 3 hours. They promised me this goddamn delicious buffet. I go there, I bite into the fucking sub, and all the meat and cheese is gone." Like,
he was shimmying as he was cleaning, so somebody fucked with him because it was just, he's way too. This fat ass is too happy because he's always miserable.
But he's like Al Bundy was like, "Chris, I've been living off ramen noodles for the past 3 weeks," and I'm like, as unhealthy as they are, why haven't you lost weight yet? You keep getting fatter.
Like, yeah, because on a diet of ramen noodles, it's like if you just
the sodium.
Yeah,
must be.
Yeah, I mean, well, with all the turkey loaves he was eating too, because that's like 4,200 milligrams of sodium.
Look on the back of ramen. Look at sodium, especially with the
ramens are
flavor packet.
Yeah.
that shit is like 30+%.
I would see guys in
It
prison.
used to be insane amounts of sodium for.
Well, that's if you use the
pack.
whole packet, though. If you use the whole seasoning
he
packet.
was.
Oh, yeah, he definitely was. He probably was putting 2 seasoning packets in a single thing. That's probably why his stomach doesn't go down.
Save you for later, dry ramen.
If I could, it's just a problem getting him here because it's already like, anything past 5 o'clock's past his bedtime. So
That I don't understand either, because it's like you go to sleep at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's like you have 12 hours, you work 8, so you have 4 hours to be sociable, right? So
He's already been asleep for like 6 hours.
yeah. So it's just like, wait, hold on, what time is it?
Probably 7.
It's 11. Oh, he's been asleep for 7 hours. So it's just like,
Purring in his house right now.
So the thing is, it's like you're broke because it's like I know he definitely has to subscribe to so many
you
females on
wanna read this from me?
OnlyFans. It's definitely on OnlyFans. Like he is OnlyFans and Twitch.
let me miss it, Junior,
know
but
where his
I have to have
money's
Elliot read this for me because I'm. But like when we did the whole fucking gummy sugar bears.
No, I'm not reading them. I'm gonna piss my pants.
But this guy said, Chris.
Junior wasn't here for that.
Well, I told some of it, but like this guy sent me a link. He goes, well, I found a funny one. It wasn't a gummy bears, but this is similar. This was the man's hair remover gel from hell. Here, look at that.
I can't read that from here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Actually, I'll get Susan to read it when she comes back.
I'm probably gonna have to leave soon.
Yeah.
Grab some food and.
I'll do 2 news articles.
Sorry, Junior, this ice is being smarter than I am right now.
Damn ice.
Let's see.
Oh, that's good.
There you go.
Thanks.
All right, Al. So, because I got to do one comical animal one for 2020, but did you hear about? It says there's baboons carrying knives and chainsaws spotted in Safari Park. Hold on. Look at his picture real quick. Look at that. Oh, I swear to Christ.
And this shit is actually real.
Yes.
Like, it's legitimately happening. Baboons with fucking knives and shit. Like, jacking these people up. Like, yo.
It says...
Like, post that to the Facebook page. I gotta have people look at that. That's insane. These baboons are like, yo.
We'll finish up the podcast with this, but
run that bag, son. Right. See what's in that brown bag.
Baboons at a popular safari park have been spotted with knives, screwdrivers, and even a chainsaw.
That is amazing.
The primates at Knowsley Safari Park and Maryside are already known for their destructive abilities and have been pictured previously pulling things from visitors' cars. But now, some staff are concerned that the baboons are being given weapons by park goers. One worker told the newspaper, "We're not sure if they're being given weapons by some of the guests who want to see them attack cars, or if they're fishing them out of pickup trucks and vans." The worker said the animals sometimes go into people's toolboxes and grab what they can, adding, one of the baboons was seen lugging around a chainsaw. Another said some had been found with knives and screwdrivers, and also questioned whether the baboons were being armed by people on purpose.
Most definitely. There's gonna be fucking monkey wars in a minute.
But the safari park said suggestions that the baboons are being armed with weapons was likely to be an urban myth. Said some tales had grown in exaggeration as they were being shared to make objects found in the animals' enclosure. But yeah, if you take a drive through, this says its website includes reassurance that measures to make it COVID secure are in place, reminding guests that if you take a drive through our baboon jungle, we're unable to return any car parts that our cheeky baboons may take. While pointing out that
COVID secure. I am more worried about the monkey with the knife.
it says they're pointing out that it's going to be a car-friendly tour.
My ass.
Until they puncture your tire and start cracking your window. Trying to get in.
Like, look at this fucking picture here. This woman is in line. Look, that's a bunch of baboons on her car with knives. Like,
like, yo, I could swear I seen that bitch put some food in the bag. Somebody get that bag. Oh, she thinks she getting out of here? Nah, so get on the roof. Get on the roof. She ain't going nowhere. Come off the bag or we gonna get you.
oh,
The monkeys and their knives and shit.
Yeah,
That's insane.
I'll do the hair while Susan gets back, but I heard about this actually. Like, man, this was. Oh shit, where is that? It's this girl. Yeah. Yeah, Al, did you hear about? Well, apparently, I'll find the article in a second. But this was a while back where this girl they arrested this one teenage girl because she was a fucking pedophile, a fucking trafficker, and she killed him. And they want to fucking putting her in jail because of that shit. But now apparently she's on bail. I'm not sure if you heard anything about that article.
I might have seen it, but I didn't read it. I didn't.
Okay,
because I remember reading something about some girl that killed some dudes.
Yeah. I'm pulling up right now.
Florida Man Challenge, you guys ready?
Do that while I pull this up.
All right, here we go. Florida Man Challenge, July 28th.
Oh boy.
A Florida man was caught on video making a beer run while carrying a live alligator with his mouth taped shut.
Hey, Sue, come here, read this for me.
Yes.
It says the man with the gator jokingly ran at other patrons in the store. Florida Man Challenge, yet again. This dude said, "Oh, that's my gator."
Everybody's like, so that's where Snappy went.
It says Adrian Croft is a Florida native and has been riding for the Florida Man
She
Times.
broke the fucking floor.
The floor's been broken.
Holy shit!
Yeah, the whole thing is starting to come in.
Yeah, we're all fucked. All right, so I found this because.
Oh, before you read that, Susan. So this is how reckless I am on Facebook. So there's a picture that says "vacation me, please," which basically means, because they still have that slang of bay.
God.
So it says "vacation me, please," which is basically this guy having sex with this girl over the balcony at some hotel in this vacation spot. So I said, "That's a nice ass view, though. Gonna see if I could fly me and some random girl out there to eat some ass. Time to hit these DMs up."
Let's read this and then we'll be done. So this is a customer review for there you go.
The men's hair removal gel cream from hell. After having been told by my danglies, like an elderly Rastafarian, I decided to take the plunge and buy some of this, as previous shaving attempts had only been mildly successful, and I nearly put my back out trying to reach the more difficult bits. Being a bit of a romantic, I thought I would do the deed on the missus' birthday as a bit of a treat. I ordered it well in advance, and working in the North Sea, I considered myself a bit above some of the characters writing the previous reviews and wrote them off as soft office types. Oh, my fellow sufferers, how I was wrong. I waited until the other half was tucked up in bed, and after giving some vague hints about a special surprise, I went down to the bathroom. Initially, all went well, and I applied the gel and stood waiting for something to happen. I didn't have long to wait. At first, there was a gentle warmth which, in a matter of seconds, was replaced by an intense burning and a feeling I can only describe as like being given a barbed wire wedgie by two people intent on hitting the ceiling with my head. Religion hadn't featured much in my life until that night, but I suddenly became willing to convert to any religion to stop the violent burning around the third tunnel and what seemed like the destruction of the meat and to veg. Struggling to not bite through my bottom lip, I tried to wash the gel off in the sink and only succeeded in blocking the plug hole with a mat of hair. Through the haze of tears, I struggled out of the bathroom, across the hall, into the kitchen. By this time, walking was not really possible, and I crawled the final yard to the fridge in the hope of some form of cold relief. I yanked the freezer drawer out and found a tub of ice cream, tore the lid off, and positioned it under me. The relief was fantastic, but only temporary, as it melted fairly quickly, and the fiery stabbing soon returned. Due to the shape of the ice cream tub, I hadn't managed to give the starfish any treatment, and I groped around in the drawer for something else, as I was sure my vision was going to fail fairly soon. I grabbed a bag of what I later found out was frozen sprouts and tore it open, trying to be quiet as I did so. I took a hand of them and tried in vain to clench some between the cheeks of my arse. This was not doing the trick, as some of the gel had found its way up the shoot-me channel, and it felt like the space shuttle was running its engines behind me. This was probably and hopefully the only time in my life I was going to wish there was a gay snowman in the kitchen, which should give you some idea of the depths I was willing to sink to in order to ease the pain. The only solution my pain-crazed mind could come up with was to gently ease one of the sprouts where no veg had gone before. Unfortunately, alerted by the strange grunts coming from the kitchen, the other half chose that moment to come and investigate and was greeted by the sight of me. Arse in the air, strawberry ice cream dripping from my bell, and pushing a sprout up my arse while muttering, "Oh, that feels good." Understandably, this was a shock to her, and she let out a scream, and as I hadn't heard her comment, it caused... I'm sorry.
This is so descriptive.
Give me a moment. Give me a moment.
That's why I can't read it.
I'm surprised I made it that far. I really wasn't even paying attention until the moment where I just broke. Oh, God.
Christ.
Understandingly, this was a shock to her, and she let out a scream, and as I hadn't heard her come in, it caused an involuntary spasm of shock in myself, which resulted in the sprout being ejected at quite some speed in her direction. Oh my God. Imagine this poor woman having a frickin' Brussels sprout being, like, tossed at her by her husband's ass. Oh, God. I can't.
I can't either.
Oh, man. I can understand that having a sprout having a sprout farted against her leg at 11 at night. And the kitchen probably wasn't the special surprise she was expecting, and having to explain to the kids the next day what the strange howl in the hollow in the ice cream was didn't improve my status. So, to sum it up, Veet removes hair, dignity, and self-respect. Oh my God.
So if you want some hair remover, for your head.
Oh, God. That's one hell of a way to...
Jesus Christ.
That's it, fucking the podcast.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Oh my God.
Oh, say your goodbyes, because... Oh, thank fuck God, Susan, I couldn't read that shit.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus, Marion, just...
All right.
That was a good 3 hours, though, shit. Yeah.
Well, you know...
I had no plans for tonight, honestly. It just funny shit like that, but...
Well, as blue-collar workers, as we are,
Yeah.
we just got to continue to work hard, just continue to save what little coins that we can, you know, find something to invest it in, and just, if we happen to catch a lucky break, just look out for each other, because, you know, you already know the 1% isn't going to look out for us.
Or the government.
Or the government. Not even the government. The government and the 1% is not going to look out for us. The only way that we're going to thrive, the only way that we're going to succeed is if we look out for each other.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, like I said, if any bit of coins that you save, you know, it's, we got to look out for each other, you know. We got to look out for, you know, we got to put bring ourselves up. You know, we got to stop tearing ourselves down because we have a difference of opinion. We got to start building each other up and understand that we all have a different mindset on things, and just continue to move forward and be human. You know, we're all humans, and we're all going to think different things. We're all going to have different mindsets and different ways that we approach things. We just all need to just band together and just become better. then become better than this, to get through COVID-19, just comply and just, once we come out of this, to just be better and to come together. Even if other people aren't, then let them do what they do and let us continue to come together. Because once they see the positive effect that comes from it, then, other people might want to join in on it too.
Yeah.
So that's my spiel.
I won't go last night because I want to get this done early, but also beware of baboons with knives.
And chainsaws.
I can't believe in my lifetime I read a news article about baboons attacking cars with a chainsaw.
Oh my god.
Welcome to 2020.
I can't believe that I just read about some guy beating his ass.
Or wanting a gay snowman.
Or wanting to get a man, or farting a fucking Brussels sprout at his wife. On her birthday.
I'll let Alan finish, and Junior and Elliot, Susan and Elliot finish it, but I'll just say, guys, like everybody here, basically what Junior had said, and Al said a lot of shit too about isms and social stuff, that like, hey, all of us here work, and we got our fucking own bills to pay for, and we're doing this shit for free because we love hanging out with our friends, and I would like to get more people on social media to just, engage with us in conversation, make some points across, and just have a good time, grab a drink, and understand the fact that we're all fucked, but we can be fucked and look out for each other, and said, stop giving people money who don't need it and who haven't earned it. So if you earn your money in your paycheck, support your fucking kids, or support, like Al's like, how about that homeless guy or whoever, anybody fucking doesn't take anything to give somebody a fucking dollar or a quarter, So that's all I got.
Protect your neighborhood. Protect your neighbors. Donate to the people that could help you and your family and your friends in your times of need. Stop wasting your money on bullshit. Because that bullshit ain't going to help you when you need it. Do the right thing. Follow through on your moral obligation to take care of yourself and the people around you. Be better and do better.
Yeah.
I'll go and I'll let Sue finish. I guess I'll be serious since I probably.
You are a gentleman. You letting the woman finish last.
Oh yes, that's how it's supposed to be. Me first.
You sound like it only lasts about 3 strokes.
Keep that woman under your thumb.
The more drinks, it's like 4 drinks is 4 strokes. 5 drinks is 5 strokes.
But I guess if you're a kind of person out there who's depressed or kind of
like us,
self-inflicted herder, go and talk to someone. You're not gonna do this shit by yourself without causing more damage. I've been there. It sucks.
Yeah.
Don't rely on people too much, but find somebody to talk to. It helps. I know someone might be like, no, you joked about cutting yourself. No, I laughed because it was a really stupid part of my life. Survived it, but
you can look back and laugh, though.
Oh, yeah, it was fucking stupid. A lot of it was stupid shit. Sometimes...
It's my problem with comedy. I have had friends and female friends who've been raped, and their coping mechanism was rape jokes. Rape jokes did not bother them. Some people can handle rape jokes. It depends on the person. It's like, you can't... That's why I said comedy, you can't judge comedy.
Yeah.
Because some people, their release is joking about what they went through, or being molested, or being anything.
Yeah. When I was younger, I dealt with physical pain far better than emotional or mental. So
some people do.
I used to cut myself. But if you feel that way, find help. Find somebody who's been through it. That's probably your best bet. Don't pay a psychiatrist. They'll just tell you what you want to hear to get your money.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's true.
I'm still reeling after that story, so for anyone who wants to read the reviews from what site was it, Chris?
It was Amazon.
It was on Amazon. Yeah. Go to Amazon, look up Veet hair removal, and just start reading the comments. It is hysterical. Yeah. I literally was in tears.
God, it's funny.
Yeah, thank you, because I couldn't do it. You had to do it for me. So, cool. We killed 3 hours, so good night.
Good night, guys.